changes and turning me to strange changes. Oh, where's your shame? You freaking don't remember the words to this song? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Am I doing this? Oh, I didn't do the thing. I didn't do the you see me? How can you see me? My freaking camera's off. I didn't edit the settings to this video. I should have done that. But I think I'm live. He's live. And if I remember, there's a way of editing things. Community settings? I'm live! It's alive! Alive! Tell me if that's too loud, or if you can hear me. Oh, whatnot. I don't think that's the right one. I haven't got any... So I'm live, but it's not telling me in my... Hang on, I'll just update this. Channel videos. It should say Super Cartooning. The name of it should be Super Cartooning Stream, so... Let's iron out all the wrinkles. All the disgusting wrinkles. Yeah. I just want to make cartoons on the internet. Oh, there it is. Super Cartooning Stream. What I want to do... Oh. Yeah, I want to add a description. Because that's a funny thing to do. That is a funny baseball. So I don't know who's watching. Hello everybody who's watching my screen. Sorry about all of the technical details.
Important. All creators are obligated to take action to comply with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and or other laws. Review your channel and video settings. I haven't done that. I'm going to get busted. Oh no.
So, why is the title blank? Oh wait, it's still loading. We'll give it some time. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh look, I got a YouTube link. Can I copy that from here? No, I'll just go to it. Let's just go to it! And stuff up my bandwidth even more to make this even more troublesome for you. What's Sweetie Bloom saying? I'm alive! Alive! Yes, I'm alive. So, anyone else? Nope, that's it. Okay. Thank you, Sweetie Bloom. Oh, yep, Super Cartoon Stream. Here we go. Okay, so, come, laugh at me for using a Flash 8. That's it. That's it. You come and do. Welcome to me using Flash 8. I have had this program for well over a decade, and I love it, and I'm sorry, and I know it's very stupid, but it's just the workhorse. It just sits here, and I love it. Volume and title are good. Yes, yes, we have success. And you know what? I think I also have 17 people watching. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! So I'm going to copy the thing, and I'm going to send it to Twitter! I don't know why I'm talking like that. I had a cup of coffee to keep me going. Come and hang out a beat. No, that's stupid. Come and laugh. Come and heckle me. Come and heckle me. Come and heckle me badly. Most painfully. Most sixfully. No, that doesn't sound good at all. Come and have a good time. Come and have a gay old time. Oh, behave. No, what should I say? Come and what? Come and hang. Yeah. Come and hang. You should all go and hang. No. Come and watch us. Seriously now. Seriously. Watch us, which is by us, that's the royal us, the royal we, that is me, fumble around in Flash. Flash. For a bit. For a bit. And there's the URL. And hopefully that will be enough. Look at the doggy. Look at this video. I think look at it. I love that video. He's just full of love. He's just, he doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, I love it so much. Anyway. That's good. Dogs, bruh. Okay, so, let's see how we're doing here. What does the chat say? Happy New Decade, says Moonblaze. Happy New Decade to you too, Moonblaze, and to everyone. Welcome to 2020. Welcome to a whole new show. Oh my gosh. Yeah, hello. Sweetie Bloom is first. It's a Tony voice. Yay, hello, everybody. Argamis says, greetings from Argentina. Oh my gosh, we've got people on the other side of the planet. Hello, everybody in a country that isn't burning. I shouldn't make jokes. That's not funny. Fortunately, I'm fine for now. So everything's good. Yes. Name is right. Super cartoon stream is what I see. Excellent. Excellent. We've got a few people watching. We've got 20 people watching. We have 20 people watching the super cartooning stream. Welcome, everybody. Glad to know you're alive. Says, thank you, Bobby. I'm glad to know you're alive, Bobby. Bobby Henderson. Yeah, I put too much thought into everything I do. I overthink everything, sweetie, so it's okay. Alright, so welcome to the show that I've been putting off for decades. I threatened Silverquill that I'd teach him how to use Flash one of these days, because he doesn't really animate his shows that I know of. He's just, he's got some awesome illustration skills, the Mads illustration skills, but he doesn't animate stuff, and neither do I. But I can do it. Hence the old Flash 8. This is Flash 8. Welcome to a thing I've been putting off, and I suppose I should explain, if you like. I shall explain what I've been doing here. This is a cartoon show that I have been trying to make since before Pony. So way before Pony, I decided I was going to... Actually, I started out on Newgrounds, so that was the only game in town. That was the only game in town before YouTube. If you wanted to get your show out there, if you wanted to be someone on the internet, it was just easier. The easiest and first immediate thing to do was make an animation for Newgrounds. And everything was in Flash. Flash is a great little program for web development because all of the file sizes are small due to the vector format, and you probably know all this. You don't need me to tell you this. But yeah, and so I cut my teeth on that, and I thought it was a great vehicle for telling stories. This is long before I ever wanted to make reviews or anything like that. I thought I could be a stellar artist. Being funny that way. And you can see my stuff on Newgrounds and whatnot, and Newgrounds and DeviantArt. I think I posted everything there as well. And I quickly discovered that animation's not really my thing. I can certainly do it, but at that time it really felt like it wasn't for me. It was very tedious. It's very very freaking tedious, and that might just be after talking to my good friend John Kasu. That the program is probably broken and busted and stupid and horrible, and I shouldn't be using it, but it's just what I'm used to. And hopefully what you'll see here today are all the principles that make an animation work in Flash. Like if you're using Adobe Animate or something like that, then all of this works the same way. I have used Adobe Animate. It's fine. It's expensive. No, thank you. I own this copy of this program, so I'm get off. I won't be freaking hiring Creative Cloud Adobe Animate again until I absolutely need to. So I just go back to Flash 8 and this program, this cartoon I've been working on has been on various different hard drives, following me around. It won't leave me alone. I can't let it go. and it was all designed in Flash 8, so I just start there. Yeah. Anyway, so then I did YouTube. Oh, I saw a little squirrel fellow. He's joined the show. I'll show you all of this, what this is, in a minute. But what happened? Yeah, YouTube happened. I just shoved all my stuff on YouTube, and I thought maybe I'll do reviews and so on. And in a fit of pique, I started making video analysis and stuff, and all of the cartooning sort of went away. And I guess I'm older, a little bit older, a little bit wiser, a little bit more mature. And I realized that animation is very, very rewarding if you can get it done. But you have to kind of dedicate yourself to it. You have to give yourself an hour every day. Give yourself a little bit of time where you're just doing nothing but animation. And I think it's a mighty mountain to chisel away at. One of the first animations I made was something called Psychotic Squirrels. I don't know if I can show you those Psychotic Squirrels. I shouldn't show you that. Silly old Google. Silly old internet. I wonder if I have it on my computer somewhere. Let's not do that. Let's not betray any more of my secrets. But you can look it up, Psychotic Squirrels, and that was based around Conker's Bad Fur Day. If you've ever played Conker's the greatest and only game, back on the Nintendo 64, it was the only game that really didn't disappoint. I mean, I played everything Rareware used to have. They were great. I loved Rareware. I love classic Rareware on 64, but you know, I was excited for Perfect Dark, and I played Perfect Dark, and I loved it. Oh, I played the heck out of it. But Conker's Bad Fur Day came right out of nowhere, and it was like this rework of a show, of a game that didn't work. They were making 12 Tales Conker's for the like another Banjo-Kazooie game. It was called 12 Tales Conker's Quest or something. And so they reworked it into what eventually became Conker's Bad Fur Day. And it blew my mind, man. It was like, oh, this is a parody game? You're kidding me. This is satire? Not satire, but just parody. Loving parody of lots of different movie tropes and stuff. And Conker's Bad Fur Day was such an excellent game, aside from just being a comedy parody thing, that for a while there, it had the best Matrix gameplay, like from the TV show. It was a better Matrix game than most of the Matrix games out there. It was a better Aliens game than a lot of Aliens games out there, because it parodied those movies. And you're like, I don't know if there's a Godzilla. No, there's a Godzilla. I don't know if there's a Jaws game, but it was a better Jaws game than any Jaws game that ever happened. So it's like, it was it blew my mind, and I loved it. I loved the style, and I wanted more. So I made this little animation in this tribute to the style, at least, called Psychotic Squirrels. And then I thought, after a while, I wonder if I could make a show based around that, that little short I did. And so I came up with these ideas for an entire forest. I called it Melody Forest, and like an overarching storyline with characters and the whole schmozzle. And what happened one day was, I have a friend who makes computers, built me my computer, and he was headed off for holiday to Mongolia, and he went off to Mongolia, and the very day before, my PC broke down, and I'm like, oh shoot, quickly call him up, getting me a quick just before he goes. And I thought, no, hang on, he's going to Mongolia the next day. He's got other things on his mind. I'll just, you know what I'll do? I'll let it be. And so he went away for a month. And for a month, I unplugged completely from the internet. I had no computer. I had no PC, nothing. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't fix a computer. Maybe I can, but every time I try, it feels like I'm Mickey Mouse playing with the Sorcerer's Spellbook. No, thank you. So I just let it be, and I used that time to hand write out a story, see if I could do the story thing. And it's this I was enamored with Mitch Hurwitz's Arrested Development at the time, And I was like, oh, I love all the setups and payoffs and whatnot. I was studying on how to write a story. What's a Chekhov's gun, and you know, what's the climax of a story, and how do you, oh, the character, you know, setups, payoffs, and wants. How do you get a character to want things, and how do you create conflict and all that sort of thing, and how do you make it kind of out of nothing? You just got to pull it out of nowhere. So for a month, I sat down and wrote this story out, and really worked on it, and eventually it became this 14-minute show with that I turned into an audio file, and it was right around the time I was making the audio file. Pony happened, and so I had this audio file, and I started work on this thing, but then Pony sort of, hey, it went critical mass. And hang on, I better find out if everyone's... Oh, yeah, please do. Get everyone here. Thank you, sweetie, yes. Yeah, get Silver in here if he wants to be in here. Freaking call up. Yeah, so Pony happened. Pony sort of went critical mass, and I had to commentate on it. I had to join the Bronyhood for a bit there. And it kind of... Everything else got put on the back burner, including Sonic and whatever else I was doing, so... it's been a lot of fun, but this cartoon has never gone away. Other things have fallen away, other things have changed and mutated, and I realize this show, it's probably going to take me years. I don't know. I realized I woke up after how many years has it been? I've done 2 minutes, properly 2 minutes of animation on this, so don't hold your breath. But I'm probably not going to put it down, because I figure if I can do an hour's worth of work on this a day, I'll do some stuff. Because I recently picked it up again, and I started creating new stuff for it. And I see progress. And it's like, oh yeah, that's all you have to do. You just have to not give up. That's animation. Just don't give up. Anyway, so basically the name of this show is called Kaylee's Coffee Shop. She's a... Kaylee, this is Kaylee right here. She's a squirrel who owns a little coffee shop, and basically she loves to sell people cakes and tea, and she's got her dream job. She has what we all want, what I want, what everybody freaking wants. And how is everybody doing? Yes. Hello everybody. Hello, Silver's in the chat. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Yeah, so this is that's the story, and this is Kaylee and her shop, and the story is of basically around the patrons who come in, and she tries to sell them her chai latte. It's her favorite thing to make, and you can see it's like an advanced, like super stylized version of more of that conquer squirrel kind of style. This character here his name's Rupert. He's come in to have a drink. And so what is he? He's actually, I'm gonna leave it up to you to see if you can guess who he's a parody of. His style's a little bit different. You can see his eyes, they're like Charlie Brown, Charles M. Schultz, sort of closed inverted commas here. It's closed inverted, yeah. So he's got that. I find that if you want to draw someone's eyes, and they're wearing glasses, don't bother with the whites. That's my little tip. I know he's got little pince-nez, little tiny glasses that just sit over the bridge of his nose, but even still, I think if you've got too many whites and too many like glasses frames, it just muddies up the picture. But here, this is kind of okay. So I left him with some little indie ink eyes. And Kaylee, oh my goodness. So hopefully in this little show, I'll show you how I draw some of this stuff. I'll get into the nitty-gritty of how I do it, and any serious animator out there can just freaking laugh at me, because I bumbled through this. I taught myself how to animate. I read Richard Williams' animation survival kit, and you can see how I absolutely suck and shouldn't be doing this at all. But I get results if I stick at it. So yeah, and you'll get a preview. Hopefully, if you're very, very good at the end of all of this, you'll get to see the first 2 minutes. I realized, oh man, I've made 2 minutes of this show, and they're almost completely complete. 2 minutes of characters talking, and the real progress that got my enthusiasm back into this was that I started fixing the backgrounds, and they all started to come together. They all started really coming together. There's Hetherwin the Manx shows up. Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute, but I started creating backgrounds, proper backgrounds, and now I'm adding characters to the backgrounds and character animations to the backgrounds. And it sort of came together. I sort of like, oh, hey, I could probably do this. I could probably finish this thing maybe eventually. And what I'm doing now is adding animations to the characters in the background, so they're not just sitting there statically looking at each other blankly, like a bunch of robots, soulless robots who don't know what to do with themselves. So you can see what I've done here. So in this shot, Hetherwin is looking at Kaylee here, and you just gotta kind of wing it and figure out what looks best. And yeah, so Hetherwin's in the way here, so we'll get rid of him. So there's your background. It's a bit of a clutter color-wise because the chairs don't have outlines, and I think I need them to sort of blend a bit. It's kind of on purpose. It's kind of on purpose. In fact, I think the characters pop a little bit too much because they're quite crisp, and you're supposed to have your focus on dear little Hetherwin the Manx. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, he's a Manx cat, and that's why he hasn't got a tail. Yeah, anyone who knows my stuff probably remembers Hetherwin. Tell me, can you hear the audio from the PC? Can you hear this?
Do me a favor, you spot him, tell him to sit tight. Hetherwin's got the magic bullet. Capiche?
Gabish! Anyway, so I'll see if that worked.
Player preview. Yes, you have a preview.
Yes, Silver Quill! I live! Yay! What's going on here? Hello, Noah! Noah Eden says hello. Hello, Anthony. Heyo says Luximus. My daughter Luximus says heyo. So yeah, this is the problem. This is the real problem, I'll tell you what right now. I'm trying to teach people how I animate, and there are people like Luximus in the chat who are much better at it than me. I would say Lux uses does proper frame by frame. I do not. I use tile-based Flash assets, like Pony. Pony's kind of a weird hybrid of frame by frame, and what Flash actually is used for, which is reusing of tiled assets to create instances of symbols which you store in the library. That is a holdover of I think it was Splash Graphics that they used back in the day for web development. So that you have to you've got very little amount of data to load up this way. All of these pictures are recyclable, and so it keeps the bandwidth low. Yay! Okay. Richard Williams Animation Survival Kit. Did I hear that right? Yes, you did, Richard. That's the Richard Williams who animated Roger Rabbit and a bunch of other very cool stuff. Oh my goodness! I'm only paying attention to the chat really now. So if I missed a question, give us a hoi, and I'll see if I can answer it now. Yeah, thank you, Zed Blade. The art style, like it's like 2D Conker basically, with nice crisp lines and whatnot. And I was actually going to point this out. Actually, Hetherwin's not my character. He's owned by a wonderful creator called Spiffy the Creative, or Matthew D, and we were working on a thing together, and you can see the thing that we were working on. I was going to be the voice of this Manx for a while, and you little had to win the Manx for a while there. The project didn't really work out, but yeah, we all moved on. But I've never forgotten Hetherwin. Hetherwin's fantastic. I love him as a character. So I've included him in things before. This is a kind of an updated version of his character. And look, you can actually see how I'm sort of cheating here with his hands, his little paws. This is how you cheat in Flash, boys. I say actually animate. Anyway, this is how it's really done. You get to see all the behind the scenes stuff. Behind the scenes before I've even finished the animation. Yeah, well. Hopefully you can goad me into actually finishing something for once. But anyway, yeah, so that's Heatherwood's style. The style, these two characters are Tiny Toon characters, and you can actually see a kind of a clash in the styles here. So this is the Tiny Toons-ish, like Warner Brothers style, that I was really enamored with at the time, and I started drawing them, probably shouldn't have, and then I thought, gosh darn it, I need background characters, I'm not wasting all this effort, so I just stuck them in there and recolored them and whatnot, and yeah, and whereas over here, I just recently drew these last week. These are a couple of friends of mine. There's Cloud Cooker Country and little Kaneko Squirrel with the crazy hair. And yeah, so I drew them into the background here, and the last day or two I have been blah 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 blah. I was gonna say, sorry, you can see how the styles clash. So I've drawn Cloud in, he's like just my take on his character, on his OC, Cloud Cooker Country, at youtube.com. Go check him out. He reviews books, he's awesome. And Kaneko here, Kaneko is just another one of my conquerish sort of cartoony stylized style in my own style, right? A cute style. So you can see how they don't really work together. Their eyes are very different. Tiny Toons don't have irises, apparently. And I like to imagine that Cloud Cooker Country's eyes are so deep and dark and rich that you can look into them and you can't actually see the irises because it's so dark. He's Antonio Banderas of Bird People, and Echo has the green irises, but nice big wide pupils and so on. So it's a bit of a clash. Anyway, what I've been doing for the last week or so is last couple of days is adding animations to the background characters, so they actually do more than just sit around being silly, static. How do I do this now? I'm going to go down to stream and edit the sound file. So I'll just turn the sound down. You can turn the sound down in playing in Flash, so you can't hear the. But
You what?
listen, and it totally didn't work. Oh, isn't that great? It did not work. Why didn't it work? Come on. There you go. Okay. So, you can't hear what they're saying anyway. That's not the point. But, okay, off goes Rupert. And so this is what I'm up to. Nya. And so basically, just giving it a little bit of a thing. And oh my goodness, he picked up the cup. He picked up the cup and he took a sip out of it. This bunny doesn't even have a name, and I've given him more animation than he deserves. But, my goodness. So setting up the scene is enough of a task. This is on many layers. We have layers here for chairs and whatnot and so on. That's how Flash works. On layers, the stacked layers in this top layer panel here represent the order in which you see things here. So I can, this layer up here, make it visible, invisible. It's got chairs on it. And it's a bit of a challenge anyway. The green line, in case you're wondering, the green line represents the screen, the border. Flash 8 doesn't animate. Adobe Animate does that automatically, but I've had to create my own little box here with the box tool. Very simple, like that. And I can adjust the fill color to absent. So I've just got lines, and I can go up to a line here in the color panel right here to stage. I can match the size like so to this set to stage like that, and move it to the thing by snapping it to like so. And that's all I did to create my own frame border. So that's the actual frame of the stage. So look at all this lovely ear detail that you won't see because it's actually off screen. So you can see, put it in the corner right there. That's about the frame of the shot. Again, of course, that's not really the point, because the point of the scene is the focus, I should say. It's not really the focus. Focus of the scene is supposed to be on Heatherwin's head, and Heatherwin's right here, meow, like that. And so part of what you got to do, is you got to set these things up and like proper rigs so that they can be animated. So and where's he do that? Yeah, and in Flash there's a bunch of fake jiggery pokery you got to pull off to make that work. It's not like a frame by frame animation where you would lift his arm frame by individual wretched frame. Here, and because it's kind of in the background and you don't really notice, I cheated a lot. So this is the character in his entirety is set within his own on his own layer in his own symbol. I can go into him like this, and when we double click on him like so, we can go into his symbol and we can actually see the way I drew him was kind of freehand, and you just create. I like in creating things and drawing in Flash. There's no real drawing. There's molding like clay. You got it's two-dimensional clay molding. That's what you got. You whack on the clay like so, and then you can contort and you can stretch and shape with the sub-selection tool. That's the white arrow, and you can edit the little toggles to create basic shapes, and that's how it really feels. So if you're used to dealing in rasters, which is Photoshop stuff, which is basically pixels. You zoom in on an image and you can see in each individual pixel. This is going to be a totally different experience for you, and you don't need me to tell you this. You can go and watch Crown Prince or someone explain all this stuff to you. And the reason for this that it's useful is because here you can see each individual point of the animation of the picture is controlled by vertices with position and velocity and angle for the lines. So you've got maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a handful of units of data compared to if this were a raster image. Every single dot of the screen would be its own data point with a color value. So the file size ultimately is much, much smaller for vector images. And it also has its own unique stuff that makes it interesting to play around with, like gradient colors are very easy to edit on the fly, and they're all individually placed like that. So that's how I create characters, sort of knead them into shape. You can see here, this is a little bunny character. I'll just go into his head like that, and you can see I probably would have created him out of a circle for starters. So we'll give him a nice black outline and white, like so. And this would have been how it started. And I probably would have kneaded and molded and cajoled and budged his head into something that looks a little more Tiny Toons-ish, and just added to it over time, added bits and pieces like that, added, lumps and bumps where I needed them. And then I would have gone to modify, double click on a fill to select both the fill and the line outside it. Go to modify, transform, is it transform or shape, convert lines to fills. And that, where like a line tool has its own separate properties from fill colors. This turns it all into the same sort of thing and adds extra nodes, you can see here, to give some dimension and depth to line art. So it's no longer what Flash considers a line, but it's still a line art, and that's how you get nice tapering effects here and so on. I'm not explaining any of this very well, but that's really not the point. You can ask me how it works later. And basically that's how this character was developed, and all the characters in the show are developed. For proper characters, I think I'd start with that in mind, and you can actually see this much more effectively. If I go back to Kaylee, you can see Kaylee, good old Kaylee. She was designed to be a principal character, so that every chunk of her, every bit of her, is a little piece of this puzzle. Inside the symbol here, we have multiple angles for her head and the complete 360 rotation and whatnot. And that's nice. And her body, you can see her head is on a separate layer, its own separate layer from her head, body, tail, all of it. And her face is designed in several pieces so that Go into the mouth animation here. We can see the multiple mouth bits and pieces. And I add to this symbol as I need her to have a mouth animation. Yeah, that's how I do it. So she's cunningly thought out from the start to be quite versatile, and so I guess so is Rupert here, Rupert Squirrel. Yeah, stop me if I'm going too fast, or slow, or stupidly. And why do I not have a complete line? Why have you gone crazy? What is this? What is that? Why is my screen, my crappy makeshift screen border not behaving? Please don't do that. Make all line. Yep, that's lined up. Cakes. Look at these cakes. Drawing cakes is fun. That was fun. Anyway, yeah. So while Kaylee is probably and the main principal characters are designed cleverly to be able to animate, background characters are not. I just drew them as is, and in the last little while I've been pulling them apart, separating their separate elements into bits that can be animated, so that when I need them to, say, take a swig of drink, I can do that. And this drink animation is one separate animation. It's its own complete animation. And I think what I would do, if I were clever, is to have one single symbol stored in the library of this character, sitting at the thing, looking at his beloved, sitting at a table, looking at his beloved, and every single thing that he does, unique animation that he does and can do, would be on that timeline inside a symbol. I think that's how I'd do it if I were clever, but I'm not clever. So he's got other things, a separate symbol here for a nod animation, yeah, and a separate symbol for mouth animation. You can see here, anytime I'm just basically four, I think, four separate things. You've got a closed mouth, open mouth, teeth, and a ooh sound for a side animation like that. And he's not really, you can try and guess what he's saying here, and what his girlfriend's saying there, and so on. But if I were clever, I'd have one universal symbol that could stick all of his unique animations into. But no. So he can't talk at the moment while he's nodding. Actually, what I do, I'm getting tricked, because if he were a proper main character, all of his mouth animations and stuff would just be on the main timeline. But I just wanted to keep him nice and simple in his own layer at the moment, because he's a background character, and so yes, so I've got blinking animations and so on and whatnot. What happened here? Yeah, I created a separate blink animation, I think it was, for both characters, and it got so stupid. See, this character is completely different. Her talking, she can talk and blink within the same symbol, so I don't have to swap symbols around awkwardly anytime I wanted to do either talking or blinking. It's just that one symbol. Ugh! But yeah, it got to the point where I realized I'd created two separate things. We'll go forward a bit. Yeah, okay, here we are. I realized I created two separate symbols for ways of giving this character a blink. So here's a complete separate blink animation on the main timeline just for the rabbit eyes. And then what did I do? Later on, I just got a closed picture of his eyelid, one single separate thing, yeah, and then started animating that directly on the main timeline. Yeah, which is probably more versatile anyway, because now he can talk and blink at the same time if he needs to. So it's like, I should have just done that from the start. I'm an idiot. But anyway, so it worked out. Okay, I have too many white rabbit eyes. If you need some, talk to me. I can sell you, get you a discount. Yeah, and when I realized that, man, I've got to do this properly. I've got to figure this out. So I finished all of their animations and so on. Little cheat there. I stuffed Kaylee in her own timeline, in her own this little box of animation, so that I don't have to do a camera change later. I can just stick her right over the action. And yeah, so I want to do. I finished the bunny animations. I didn't do it very well. I just made it work. I shoved it all in there. And then I thought, well, to really finish and round out this last 2 minutes, I've just got to. Where's Heather one? There we go. I've got to do something for Cloud and Kaneko back here in the background. So I imagine they're going to talk, and they're going to maybe give them each a unique animation for what they're doing in their situation. And what's going on? Oh, okay, the table's in the way. Sorry. Yeah, and maybe one unique animation each, and some mouth movements, and and blinks. I guess that's what we're doing. So that's the whole deal. That's what I want to do before the 2 minutes is up, and when that's done, I might show you the 2 minutes of animation we've got completed here. And yeah, hopefully that's interesting. I don't know. What do you think about that? Hello again, chat. Just listen to me talk blah blah blah. Shut up, Anthony. Do. Hello. Hey, Kichi. Hey. Everybody congratulate Kichi for passing her exams. She's the greatest. She is the only one. No. Zedblade says, this might be a dumb question, but do the tools in Adobe Flash act like Adobe Illustrator? It looks like it does. I've very, very briefly used Illustrator. If anything at all, from what I understand, yes, but because they're built for totally different things, yeah, there's some overlap as far as I know. Luximus says, Anthony, have you ever tried making vectors in Illustrator for your puppets, or is it all just Flash? No, I've never done that. I figured I know how to use Flash. Why would I use another program? Yet another program. I didn't really jump wholeheartedly on the Adobe bandwagon. I like Premiere, and that's really all I use, like a complete Luddite. Cameron Steers asks, you Aussie inglorious genius, you keep up the cracking work. If you only you knew what a complete and utter, what a phoebe, what a fool I truly am. That's right, worked for 10 years on a cartoon it has 10 years worth of work on it to go. Genius! Finally we get to see, but thank you very much. Finally we get to see the great Anthony's here at work. Oh dear. I'm at work. If you love to work, you're gonna love this work. Clay modeling, yeah. Clay modeling like in Ghost. That's right, Silver. Okay. Oh, and we're going to ship. Yes, thank you, Sweetie Bloom. Captain of the ship. Uni Rob says, would you like an original song on ukulele? And if so, what would you like it to be about? I would like it to be about joy and happiness in the new year, and bringing people lots of happiness in 2020. Please, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. Let's see. I was the guy on Twitter suggested you'd stream at midnight so that you liked earlier. Hey, Johnny! Yay! Excellent. Yeah. I would have liked to do midday, but it seems like it's like very few of my friends could join at that time, or Sweetie couldn't join, to be honest. Sweetie couldn't join at that time, and also I didn't know what I was doing, so it took some setup. Noah says, I love your work. Thank you. Anything I've missed? Yes, that's about it. Thank you very much, everybody. Everybody. I'm very sorry. Everybody. It won't happen again. Ribbon Chan, yeah. Okay, where are we? At the bottom. Look in the bottom. When you say clever, I must do this. Oxford! Oxford! Yes! Indeed. This is really awesome. Thank you very much. It is. This is really awesome. It's really awesome talking to you guys. Dear. A meta, we're all in individual boxes. Yes, we get shoved in our individual boxes. That's what we do. My work. Oh, you know what I learned about going to BronyCon and doing pony and stuff? The pony show is amazing. Those people are amazing. I've churlishly sat at the sidelines in the cheap seats throwing fruit, rotten veggies at professional artists who do amazing work to a deadline. That's amazing. And it was really funny going to BronyCon. I came there with Questria, the third Questria cartoon, for both of you who remember that, and it was great. It was a great experience. Everyone who was there seemed to enjoy themselves. But the thing about Questria is the motivation for Questria was, let's see if it's really so difficult to make a TV show with like a cartoon show with character motivation, setups, payoffs, and MacGuffins, magic that makes a kind of sense and it fits in with an established lore. So it had to work for both Pony, and had to work within its own context, and that was like a mental exercise. And it was kind of like, in a little way, kind of to show up the Pony show. And I went there, and I just felt wrong doing it. It was like, these guys are, first of all, it was like, it was way too hard. It was very, very hard. It took me years to get the thing finished. It took me 8 months. I don't know what it is about that number, but everything I do takes 8 months. So it took me 8 months to just write the thing, and then years more to finish what you eventually saw. And I realized, man, these people, I know they're getting paid, they're full-time, they come into work and all that sort of thing, but they're actually doing something that's very, very hard, and I gained a new respect, I think, for what they do. I also felt like a massive churlish fool of a took, just criticizing other people's artwork. So that's kind of why it's all sort of died down on my channel. I'm very, very, very sorry about that. But yeah, I just don't feel right criticizing things. Like Teddy Roosevelt said, sitting in the cheap seats, hurling rotten fruit at the people in the arena. It's like I got this universal warning, like the hand of God on my shoulder saying, "This ain't it, Chief. Come on. Be nice, be kind." And so I'd like to support, and I like to sort of like encourage and stop criticizing the people who are actually doing it. And so instead, I'll see if I can make something instead. Make something new. Ribbon Chan wants to know, I'm not sure if anyone has asked this yet, but how did you get in the Brony community? How did you become a Brony? It's a good question. It's a bit complicated. All my friends were, I guess, is the question, the answer. And they got me watching the show, and then I thought that Pony was great, and it was better than it needed to be. It sort of made sense of all of the stuff I went through as a kid. Like the Pony show didn't make any sense. Like, why do girls like My Little Pony? I don't get it. Girls aren't stupid. My sister's certainly not stupid, but here they are watching this show. And then along comes Pony later on in life, and it's like, oh, here's a show created by one of those girls, like Lauren Faust. This is what they were doing. They were buying the toys, and they were imagining worlds that were better than what was presented to them on TV. And it's like, aha, there it is. And the idea was that it wasn't the girls that were dumb, it was the studio executives who thought that, girls are all sugar and spice and everything nice. Little boys are slugs and snails and puppy dogs' tails. They're rough and tumble. Girls can have the dollies, and boys can have the action figures. And the action figures come from, monsters and robots bashing each other up, which is it's not much better, but it is at least conflict, which is this very, conflict. It's at least one of the building blocks of a decent story. Conflict, real conflict. So I put it in, that's my hypothesis, my theory on why boys shows of that age seem to be a little bit better. And I did not understand My Little Pony at all until, Lindsay Ellis and my sister, and later on the ladies explained that show wasn't great, but we weren't in it for that. We were in for the toys, and we were inventing worlds. And so that's ML, like G4 happened, and it's like slotted in and kind of made sense of this conundrum in my past. I'm like, oh, that's why. That said, great show as it wasn't perfect. And like the Flim Flam brothers show up and Applejack doesn't learn a lesson. I'm like, come on. Come on, guys. That's not great. That was silly. So I just like, and I was also really, really frustrated not being able to do what I wanted to do in life, make shows or whatever. So I just vent my frustration at this silly show. I thought it was safe. I'm not really throwing. It's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous that I would be commentating on the Pony Show. I shouldn't even be watching the Pony Show. It's right. So I'm gonna give it a full Mr. Plinkett, zero punctuation-esque go, and I'm gonna criticize and it just it ate my life doing that, and not a bad thing really. I met all sorts of amazing people, made great friends, and it kind of grew on me after a while. So that's my long and horrible and circuitous answer as to why I got into Pony. Let's see. Midnight stream. I admire. Don't let the imposter syndrome get you. No. Okay then. Thank you, Moonblaze. Unirob says, I'll get it to you by the end of the day via Twitter. You're gonna get what to me? What's in the box? Oh no, Rob, what's in the box? Time zones are a kicker. Sorry about that, Starry Flame. Wait a minute. You're in my time zone. What are you talking about? Viva. Hey, it's Viva Herbally. Viva. Yeah, Viva. What you doing, man? Lady, my dear, my girl. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Thank you, Noah. Well, we are still... Oh, no. I just realized Viva is a consummate Flash artiste. And now I'm going to embarrass myself in front of the brony poker person. We're all still fans of the show, so it's accurate. Yeah. It's I can't bring myself to make fun of it. It's all ended so very sweetly. Everyone just loved Pony. It's a show that meant a lot to so many people, and it's like, what business do I have? It doesn't anger me legitimately, and it's only just I was laughing at myself last night, because last night's the first time I ever really properly watched Kimi Sparkle, and now okay, I just sort of sank in. I couldn't really watch Kimi Sparkle because it's like, Jenny Nicholson is making fun of me. I can't handle this, so I didn't. I have a Patreon. You don't understand. And now only just now do I realize, oh, okay. Number one, it's not that bad, but that's why I kind of got into reviewing it in the first place, because it doesn't matter. I thought to myself, this is fair game, because I'm not hurting anyone's feelings. And then I came to realize, going to BronyCon, maybe I am I'm taking myself way too seriously. And it's like, I started a joke that got the whole world laughing. But didn't I see that the joke was on me? And I realized, yeah, that's why I did it. Same kind of motivation, but born of a toxic place, like born of like an angry kind of like Noah Antweiler-ish, bad movies and games deserve to be hurt back, man. So it was real, as a bizarre blend of being a real criticism and just a churlish sort of a whole world sucks, Pony Show sucks. I'm gonna make fun of it. Nobody can do anything to me. It doesn't really matter, because they. Like, I guess I naively thought that the people creating the show wouldn't care if I hated it, right? Because they're like, it's not for you, buddy. It's a kid's show. Stop it. Who cares? So that's what I assumed. And then I thought, as I grew in respect, as I grew to love what they were doing, I began to feel kind of ashamed of myself. That the feeling of the toxicity of that attitude that bad movies and games deserve to be hurt back. I don't actually believe that. I don't, there's a difference between destructive criticism and deconstructive criticism, or, constructive criticism, and constructive criticism doesn't really interest me terribly much to make. I'd rather, if I figure if I'm going to invest so much time in anything, I'd just rather make my own thing. So I'm sorry about that. I love listening to it. I love Rob Ager, and I love, what's his name? Matthew Matosis and Silverquill, and people making this stuff, and people who are actually helping with it or adding new things to. Highly recommend. But for me, I think I'd just rather be the guy in the arena. And you can all throw mud and rotten fruit at me. That's what I'd rather. I'd rather be the target of everyone's ire. Let someone else do a reviewing his magic on me. Yeah. Hey everyone, what's your favorite video from Anthony C? It's this one. Oh jeez. Anyway, that's enough of my blah blah blah. Maybe. Oh, the lag is bad. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. If the lag is bad, I tried to make it watchable. I did set it to a low sort of latency thing. So hopefully it won't be terrible. Let's get into some animation, shall we? Let's do it, shall we? Yes. Who's loving me? What's going on over here? Oh, it's Luximus. What does Luximus want? I shouldn't. He says just as he just dives back into Discord. We'll let that load. Okay, anyway. What do we got here? Alright, so this is Flash. Wonderful, wonderful Flash, which I now embarrass myself in front of all the better artists out there. And to complete this scene, this wonderful, wonderful scene, which I feel weird not showing you yet. Maybe I can show you a little bit of it. But to complete the scene, I need to give Cloud Coca Country and Kaneko the Squirrel some mouth animations. And maybe Blink. And if we have time, in the next, what do we say, hour, I guess? Give it an hour? Yeah, maybe. Maybe a little custom animation for each. I think I want to make Kaneko Squirrel, because she's Kaneko Squirrel a giggle. A little bit, because she looks like a giggly type, happy type. And maybe I'll make Cloud move his wing. Yeah, his shirted wing. And I wonder if I should do something else. Screw it. This is my stream. Who cares? I'll do this less entertaining thing and see if I can animate. So first of all, I have to find out where they begin. This is something I can show you first. A little bit of animation stuff. Rupert. He goes off there. Yeah. So Rupert takes his big cheese. Okay, that's where they begin. I think this might be the first shot. No. This is where they begin. Rupert takes off, and the first time we see him, he's got a big cheese, and he's sitting in front of it. This is a very simple animation right here. He licks his lips, and then he blinks. And I can show you this, how I did that. I think that when you want a character to animate in Flash, all you have to do is create a space on the timeline and add a custom animation to cover things. So you can see how it works here. You've got a eyelash and a blocker for the eyeball behind. That's all. 2 frames and I say 2 frames and I made it invisible. 2 frames and he blinks. That's it. And his tongue is something else entirely. Now, tongue, excellent example of what you can do with Flash. With Flash, there are 2 ways of doing things. You can moving things on stage. The first would be to create a symbol, keyframes, and move them around the stage. I think I can probably show you a small example of that. So, keyframes in Flash are, just for FYI, different from traditional animation. Much as I love Richard Williams, this is something else entirely. To traditional frame-by-frame, keyframe animation is all about timing. In Flash, a keyframe animation is all about where an instance begins and the properties added to it over time, so that you can automatically think. So what I've done here is I've created this moment in time, I've created a keyframe. I hit F7 to create a keyframe and dragged out of the library one of Hetman's arms. And this is a separate drawing inside its own symbol. Very simple idea. And where are we? On the timeline, I place it over here, and then I create a keyframe later on in the timeline, move it over here like so, and in between, now this is what I do, is I hit right click, create motion tween, and Flash does all the work for me. That's it. You don't have to create extra instances of the symbol. You don't have to redraw anything. It just moves. If you want to create a blend of, I think actually a good idea, Pony, My Little Pony is a blend of individual frame-by-frame animation and a lot of this. There's a lot of that going on. Sliding tiles, sliding your two-dimensional pottery that you've molded around the place. And you can create some interesting and cool effects this way. And masking layers and adding more and more tiles over time over the top of one another. You can create some elaborate effects and so on. So that's what that is. That's one way of doing things. I'm just going to clear these keyframes so I can clear them. The other way is to draw straight onto the timeline without creating any symbols at all. So here we have a rough image. You can see it's right here on the timeline with its little dongly velocity and angle tabs over the vertices. And add another keyframe at points, certain points, changing the shape of it. So adding a different shape, like so, over time. And its movement and shape and its even its color properties as well. And then like so. And then you can go to right click, not right click, it won't let you in. Oh, you could probably right click in animate, but in Flash 8 you have to go down to the properties inspector at the bottom of the screen. Find here, the bottom, tween, shape, or motion. Hit motion. Oh, not motion, but tween, but shape tween. That's it, shape tween. And it will automatically create a blend of the shapes. It doesn't work very well with everything, but as something as simple as a globular shape of the tongue of a character, he can lick his lips. Very simple. Very nice. Very nice! And so he's sitting there. He's mistakenly ordered a giant cheese, but he doesn't care because he's a cheese aficionado. He's got a bit of a belly. He loves it. We go back to Kaylee in the shop. Look at this. By the way, I just have to brag. I had to redraw that entire thing because now we're seeing Kaylee from a totally different angle. So here's her. And she's like, oh wait, and then we cut to her here. So I had to completely morph and rechange and redraw the entire thing just for one dynamic angle. And it's at this point I realized this cartoon is gonna take me years. Morphing all the images and so on. Oh, a nice little trick of Flash too, like you might like. Flash is really good at creating, I found, I don't know if this applies to everything, but parchment effects. Is that two separate? What's going on here? Parchment effect is gradient color, radial gradient colors. And is it selected? I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, it is. There we are. It's one. It's its own thing. Yeah. Radial gradient colors. Let me show you with a shape tool. So I'll pick up the rectangle tool. You actually see that looks like a solid color, but we'll go to this one, I think, fill it in, and you can actually see, I don't know if this is coming up very well, radial gradient, very, very slightly different at the edges here. I'll move it maybe to the corner. You can actually see it there. So it's an off yellow and a lighter version of the off yellow that you can choose by manipulating the color wheel here. And I just stuffed around with that, and no, I probably didn't do that. Let me choose this color, and we'll go up to the right here. Make sure we've got a color mixer up here like so, nya, and you can, oh dear, yeah. So change the properties of a gradient fill color. You've got two different types. You've got linear and radial. You also have bitmap if you've got imported JPEGs and whatnot, but we're not going to do that just yet. To create this little effect, and I'm going to get rid of that. We'll go to our picture of parchment paper. it actually has a line effect on the side here. Oh, I don't know. It's not letting me select the line. I don't know why. I think there might be an error.
An error.
And you can change the line. Oh yeah, there it is. It is selected. The line. Ugh. Is it selected or not? What's going on? What's going on? You can see down here at the bottom there are different line effects. You can dots and dashes. Yeah, it is selected. Okay, cool. And dots, dashes, and whatnot. Now I've gone and stuffed it up somehow, but that creates a nice little kind of parchment-y, broken edged, nicely colored parchment effect that I found is cool. And you can see it's also on the wall as well, the wall behind, the gradient, radial gradient effect. And this neat little characteristic crack is just an image I've drawn straight into it right there. Otherwise things kind of look like they're swimming and floating. It's a little technique. You can see here that's what it's supposed to represent, without some little character flaw, some little bit of doodad stuck into it. It kind of looks like the scene. Oh, I made it worse. To give it some definition. Otherwise, it kind of looks like it's all floating on this radiant background. But yeah, it's like that's the effect. And I've overthought. Yeah, yes, Luximus, get everyone you want in here. It's fine. Yeah, so I've probably overthought everything here. There's way too much detail. It's nonsense how much I've gone into this. But yeah, if you can take a look at, for example, the lamp here. This is stuffing around with radiant effects and just applying different scene textures on here. You can actually see what this little lamp, the exterior of a lamp, to make it look like it's, I think, lathed metal, a lathed metal lamp. That's not even on. It's just part of the scenery, and to get it in frame properly, it's not even in frame. There's a fancy effect and you can't even see it. So I've gone the James Cameron route and made more detail. Look, it's not even frame. More detail than you need. A chalkboard that you probably won't see until maybe later. Maybe. And yeah, I've overdone it. I may have gone too far in a few many places. Floorboard effect, which is actually, I think I found some good stock imagery and sort of did a trace effect on that, and a whole bunch of nonsense color gradient effects on that to it's a lot of stuffing around. Honestly, if you're worried about your show, like your floorboards, if you're worried about how the heck do I do this? How do I get involved? How do I color it? How do I get started? Yeah, there it is. This nonsense happens by a lot of stuffing around, and you can see I'm using mask layers to create a floorboard effect with light shadows on it from the door and the window here, and you barely even notice it, and who cares? To create this background, which is freaking gone through many irritations. Did I say irritations? I meant permutations and irritations to get to where it is. So anyway, that's that. Stream lags a lot less when you're not looking at the chat. It would help if I join you in the call. And yeah, come on, yeah, join us in the call us up. Let me call Sweetie Bloom. Shall I call Sweetie Bloom? Who thinks I should call Sweetie Bloom? Apparently the whole thing lags if I'm in chat, so I'm not even gonna ask. Hello? Hello? Is it working? Oh dear. Can I hear people? Does it work? Is it just going to crash the system? The system is down. The system is down.
Hold on. I gotta find my headphones. There they are.
Hello, sweetie. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing it again.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can the people hear you?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? I can hear you. Are you on? Are you on?
Alright. Hello?
Hello? I should be audible. Discord is telling me I'm audible. Audible.com? Hello?
Ooh.
Hello?
Ah, okay. Finally, I can hear you.
Oh, goody.
I think.
But
Maybe.
can anyone else? And can anyone else hear you?
Okay.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie.
Gosh, the connection's really bad.
My connection to you? Yeah, I'm so terribly sorry. Hopefully this'll all...
It's like you're streaming or something, yeah.
Get a better connection, Anthony!
Alright, so I'm gonna see if they can hear me at all, or if it's
Okay.
just as bad or worse over there.
Okay. I'm so sorry, everybody. But thank you for joining us. If you're new to the situation, we are experiencing technical normalities. I should
As
say.
normal as we can get, anyway.
And so we can listen to some of them.
Okay, they say it sounds clear then. Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna show you some of this because it seems like we can show you some Hetwin because Hetwin's the best. I love him so much. He's not even my character. What the heck am I doing? Yeah, let's go and make an original character. Original show with original artwork, and it's full of characters who aren't mine. Whoa, but it does have Negative Nelly. The script has Negative Nelly and my panda avatar, so you might actually get to see Panda eventually. Which would be very cool. I haven't drawn him or Nelly yet, so I don't know if it works. There's music and everything.
Oh, they're. I wonder if they can.
Hmm? How's it working? This is how we make the show, make the show, make the show. This is how we make the show.
Early in the morning.
Exactly.
Or early in the morning on the East Coast, anyway.
Late in the evening. Sorry about this, everyone on the East Coast of the United States. The United States of America.
Okay.
Yeah. How are we doing? Can anyone hear this audio?
They can't hear me.
They can't hear you. Well, bugger.
No.
That sucks.
I don't know if the stream has gotten. I don't know if the stream has gotten to that point yet, though, because when you called me, it came out of the blue for me, because I didn't know you saw my message.
Oh. Oh, okay. Is there a delay? There shouldn't be that much of a delay. Loo, I've got some apples. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but... well, if it's just me, how about this? Can we discover if the stream can hear this? Everyone in the stream.
Excuse me, honey bunny.
Hi, guy. Want some chai?
You what? Listen, sweet cheeks, I'm looking for a panda wearing a big stone
If
hat.
they can't hear me, that's fine. I can just be the little bug in your ear.
You can't hear Sweetie Bloom. That really sucks. But yes, a little bug in my ear, as it were. That is beyond my technical powers to fix. So if it's just anyway, so I have tech support. Great, thank you, sweetie. But can you see if the stream can hear the audio?
You what? Listen, sweet cheeks, I'm looking for a panda wearing a big stone hat.
How does that sound? Everybody, yeah, move your body.
So, a few people have asked if you intend on reading the phone book like you promised.
Isn't this boring enough? Oh golly. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, if you're very nice. I'll make it a Patreon reward. Does anyone notice if they
Do it.
can hear this audio? It's gonna be very stupid if it can't. I'll turn it up. Maybe that's the problem.
Can't miss him. He's a little dude about yay high wearing a huge granite tower thing on his head, like a totem pole made of rock. You seen him?
No.
Do me a favor. You spot him, tell him to sit tight. Hetman's got the magic bullet. Capiche?
Okay. Oh, wait, don't you want to try some chai?
No thank you, dear.
But it's good.
Is that what it says on the box it comes in? You might actually believe that, sweet teeth, but there's honestly nothing good about what you're selling.
Hey, there's no box. I make it myself, so it's super fly. Have a try.
Cross my heart and hope to die, I will not try your very fly chai. I'm just not that kind of guy. Now drop a couple of shots of Jaeger into that nouveau pretentious metro hetero big city designer apple loving latte goo, and on the worst day of my life you might just catch me cramming a mug of that stuff into my mouth instead of the gun that should rightfully be there. But until those events transpire, I shall abstain. Meow.
Yikes.
How does that sound? Hello? I better check. There's no group, it's individual. Hasn't come up yet. Nobody's paying attention. Ah! Okay. That's not...
I completely missed what you just said.
Sorry, can you hear the audio from the show? Hello? I do not understand what is going on. But let's barrel forward into it anyway. So, let's just do the thing. And make a good video out of my disgrace.
Hi, guy. Want some chai?
So, now we've got background characters, and I noticed that maybe there's a bit too much animation on the White Rabbit. He seems a bit distracting. We want our attention on Hedwin and his complete incredulity. Being invited to purchase some chai latte.
A chai latte latte. Ah, that fashion-friendly uptown fruit juice. Get out of here.
Okay, so I think the stream is now officially caught up to the part where you decided to call me.
Oh no! Oh gosh!
Also, sorry if I interrupted you. You're cutting in and out for me, so...
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh lord, I've
Oh
been
god,
sitting
they
here.
can hear me! Oh no!
They can?
Hi guys!
They actually can!
Let
Oh
me know if I'm
gosh!
cutting in and out.
Technical difficulties. Well, it's technically. Lordy Lou. Ugh. Okay, alright, okay. So let us barrel forward.
Listen.
Straight into. How are you doing, sweetie, now that everyone knows that you're alive? She can't hear me. You can hear her.
I know, I can hear you now, but I can't promise I'll hear you in about 3 seconds.
Oh, gee. Oh, gosh,
Yeah, see, now I can't hear you. Oh god!
Sorry. How are you doing?
Yes, I would love to add you on Discord, Tiger Star.
Love to add me on Discord?
For Tiger Star. Obviously, I have you on Discord.
Okay. Okay. Alright. So, maybe, with great patience, of my chat, for which I'm terribly grateful, we can finally get down to the business of fixing this thing here, animation, so that it actually is playable and whatnot. Keep an eye out, Sweetie Bloom in the chat, if they can actually hear the audio from the show, because that would be helpful to know.
Yes, I will relay your questions and such things to him. I can't really hear Anthony very well, so it's possible I may accidentally be interrupting him, but I will do my best.
Oh dear.
Hello.
Hello. Hopefully the chat's. Oh dear. Hopefully the chat's able to hear what I'm saying with some clarity. Okay.
Yes, they haven't said anything about not being able to hear me or not being able to hear you, so I think at this point now it's just on my end.
Okay. All right. That's good. So, with our bunnies animated in the background, we're going to move on to the last two characters who aren't animated, and we're going to give them some mouth animations. I think let's start with Cloud Cuckoo Country right here, who's in a nice laid back. I tried to give him a lazy position. Before, I had him hunched over the table like he was staring lovingly into his lover's eyes, and it just looked a bit. I don't know about their relationship. I don't think that it's quite reached that level yet. So they're just a couple of friends chilling. The dangers of putting your friends into your cartoon show. So we're just gonna have a nice little tinker with Cloud here, and what we're going to attempt to do is stuff all of the animations that make him unique into this one separate symbol. So this is an instance of Cloud in my library, the symbol in my library called Cloud, and this is how we animate the thing. At the moment, he's built or molded on many different layers. In order, just for clarity's sake, there are a couple of tricks going on here. So we've got a hand here, which, if he were all on the same layer, for example, this hand would cut right into his leg, like so. But because he's on a separate layer and made into a what they call a group symbol, it's not a group symbol is a one-time off symbol created that doesn't go into the library. And it can't be tweened, it's just to keep it grouped like so, to give it, well, I'll show you what you can do with it. You can rotate images with the, what's this, the Q, is it? The free transform tool. You can rotate images like that with the free transform tool very simply. But say you've got a couple of images, and they're on different layers, but we can move them to, I'll copy that. You got a couple image layers at different places. You can put them in a group, like so, and move them as one object, and rotate them as one object, much like a graphic symbol. But it just helps to clarify when you've got large groups of objects, and you wanna properly manipulate them as a group. It's useful, and it'll also have that group, the object which has been grouped will not bleed into other images that are editable as an editable image, as editable vectors. So you can see here Cloud, he's oh, look at this. Cloud, this is the editable image of Cloud's head. It's on its own separate layer, and I'll show you here like that. This is what I chose to draw for his layer. I think that's fairly fine. I don't need to do much more work here, except maybe clean up this little duva right here. Flash has some gnarly issues with its it adds extra vectors, and if you want to move them around, it tends to blend them together awkwardly. And then if you want to undo, it takes a frickin' age because it adds more steps in between moving those vectors around. I might have just completely stuffed myself up here because you only get so many undos. But Mr. Dracula, oh dear, can we do it? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna put it back the way it was, and there you have it. Yeah, like so. And you just gotta tidy it up by making sure that all of the velocities and angles are correct. Like I say, I had him stooped over before, and like he was hunched over the table, like the bunny rabbit here. He was an equal opposite to that. But she's staring lovingly into her lover's eyes. Oh, they just...
Moonblaze says, "Stop teaching me to animate and teach me to be that funny."
Oh, can I teach you this? You are funny, Moonblaze. You've got a funny name. That's lovely. Okay, so, yeah. So you want to make today's art class is how to be funny and animate at the same time. Yeah. What I've done here with Cloud is because his line art worked out so well, I never bothered really turning the line art, which I wonder if I should bother explaining line art in Flash. But the line art, it can't taper. It's like the way I liken line art in Flash is liken it unto a bottle brush. Well, that really looks like a bottle brush, doesn't it? I'll make it a single solid line here. It's registered in the computer as coordinates, and that's really what Flash is doing. Flash is recreating a bunch of coordinates into an image, and the coordinates for a simple line like this are vector 1 at the top, vector 2 at the bottom, like that. And you'll notice that they're colored in pink because they're on the pink layer. They'll change the. You can double click on the layer color and change the layer. We'll change it to green because that's a universal standard for work in progress, green screen and whatnot. So you've got vector point 1, vector point 2, and the other information, of course, is the color and the width. Now the width is down here in the properties inspector. It's probably different for animate, but you can change the width, and it extends it out like a bottle brush. Like you can imagine, it's got lots of little bristles expanding out right there. And whoop, go back into that symbol. Double click on any graphic symbol to get back into it. And the controls for getting out of it or back into the main timeline are at the top here, just above the timeline here. So go back to scene 1, and that's back on our main timeline. And then we go into the timeline of this symbol by double clicking on the symbol we want. You can also edit straight into symbols from the library like this. There's a border, there's a cake, and I've lost my place, so I'll go back to scene 1 and I'll go back into...
So it looks like Kichi's listening to us from bed because she's still sick.
Sorry, Kichi. It's no good. I woke up a bit ill myself this morning, hence the lateness of this stream. Now, you take a look at this line right here, and you think, wow, that looks like a big glob of paint. I would like to manipulate it like it were, as I said before, like a big glob of paint. And if I get into my paintbrush tool, and I get out of that green, kind of make a nice black, I can create a glob of paint. And you think, what's the difference? Okay. Well, the difference is a glob of paint is an area of color or fill defined by vertices. That's the simple difference right there. I could even go ahead. Why don't you just go ahead and make a shape, you know? I can make a shape with enough stuffing around. I can make a shape, delete some vertices, toggle the things, do the thing over here like that, put the thing over here like that. I can even make a shape that is roughly the same shape.
Honey dropped the unicorn. Also, oh, never mind. She deleted her message, so I guess they don't want me to ask the question.
Okay. I could end up making a shape that is roughly the same as the line tool, but remember the line tool is different. It operates on single vertices. So a fill is a color or gradient, or even a bitmap image defined by a set of vertices and their velocity, so you can see here the velocity and angle at which the line around it attacks. So it's like you create boundaries with vertices. The line tool is that boundary. It simply is. So you can see here, though this line looks like a big mass of paint, it's not. It's one line with a very thick edge. And if I use my ordinary select tool, I can grab the line like that and bring its width down to something sensible. And whether you're manipulating it when it's small or when you're manipulating when it's huge, the rules are the same. So it's a nice big thick line like so, and it has some benefits. Again, this image right here that you can see here, and I get on the sub-select tool and I can show you like that. This is, get back to it. That is two vertices with maybe here we've got an angle and a velocity, so maybe 3 or 4 bits of data plus the color plus the position, I think. So you maybe 10 bits of data to create this shape, and that's the size of it. And it's also manipulable handily manipulable by toggles like that, and so on and so forth. So 10 bits of data versus a raster image, which is like your Photoshop image or a bitmap or a JPEG, requires, so like hundreds or maybe even thousands of bits, kilobits of data, depending on the complexity of the image, to generate the same, or not even the complexity.
Looks like Starflame is ducking out to do some more packing. Have a good night.
Good night, Starflame. Thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with the packing. Stay cool. So that's why we use vectors, if we want to use vectors at all. It's just, you've added me. One of the hazards of Flash is that it likes to add extra vectors for curves, and it's nuts. And of course, the other hazard is that because it's a very simple calculation, there's no tapering of this. I can taper this shape over here, which is a fill color, to any shape, any size, any contortion I'd like within reason. Like so, I can create. So if this were an eyebrow, there's a nice thick eyebrow shape. It's a tier shape. If this were an eyebrow, it's a smiley face eyebrow at best. So I typically like, and really all artists, and Pony does this as well, I noticed, is that they create line art out of fill colors so that they're more dynamic. And you can see I've done that.
So Honeydrop the Unicorn got the final version of her question. She wants to know if you read any webtoon comics.
Oh, yes, Lackadaisy. Always hanging for the next Lackadaisy. Lackadaisy Cats by Tracy Butler. It's an amazing, it's the probably the most beautiful webcomic out there. I've read some others in the past. What was Sabrina? I think is one. I used to read Jack. Into Hell, following Jack. Oh golly, do I even have? I did Jack fan art once upon a time. Let's see some pictures of that. But yeah, love Lackadaisy Cats. Is it gonna show me? Probably just incriminating myself. Samurai Jack. Yep, totally. I reviewed Samurai Jack once. Oh, it's not going to show me. Anyway, we'll let that do its thing. Yeah, so Pony makes line art out of fill colors, but putting line art around a fill color is a bit of a nightmare. So what I do is I normally just draw a character with a line art and then go to modify, select my line art, modify, shape, and then convert lines to fills. And now we're not dealing with any pesky lines, we're dealing with a whole bunch of fill colors which can be manipulated thusly, and you can taper them properly and so on. And I liked the way this worked out for Cloud well enough that I didn't bother, obviously. I'm not sure I should bother. I might undo it if I can. I'm going to undo what I've done. Let's see if we can get back to it. Or is it ever going to let me get back to it? Yes, it did. And now I don't know. The problem with Flash 8 is that it's got a great history set up. Yeah. Okay. All right, that'll be fine. Now, I did taper the bunny outlines and so on. But that's about it. So here we have Cloud, and what do I want to do? So to make Cloud speak, or give him the illusion of speech, we're gonna have to bust up this image. So
we've got a challenge from your daughter. Luxmus says she challenges you. First one to complete the animation for their respective videos for their shows gets a prize. You on this furry animation and her on Alan Mel.
oh my gosh, there's no possible way I'm gonna win that. That's a terrible idea. How long has you got? How much more of Alan Mel is there? Oh boy. Like I say, 14-minute cartoon. 2 minutes in. The most detailed backgrounds you ever did see, all made in Flash 8, and I've already been at it for over 5 years. Excuse me while I laugh in your face. It's a good idea, but, you know. Hey, I'm doing this stream in order to judge myself up to finish this thing. One step at a time. Okay, you know what? You're on. What are the conditions of loss again? What do I get? What do you get? What do I have to do if I lose? Okay. 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 I don't know if that's good enough. I don't know if it scales. It's a little bit error prone. Anyway, I just realized that this picture, what would probably be better to start with, to start nice and simple, we can start nice and simple with a blink. We can blink his eyelid. And so to do that, we're going to have to give ourselves some leeway. Cloud is a lot of layers that it's very easy to create a new layer. If you want a new layer, just go down here, hit the insert layer icon, and then anything you draw on that layer is completely separate from the layers beneath. You can make it invisible, and you can see that's, well, you know layers. Of course you know layers. Like so. How do we do this? I might try something. Yeah, okay. I've got to think ahead right here, because I don't think at this point Cloud is going to move his head at all, which means that his blinking animation could probably be entirely done within this one symbol. I'm probably going to regret this later, because we're going to see him from another angle. I know it, and maybe I'll want a more dynamic eyelid, and we'll play that as we go. We can fix it as we go. But right now, I just want one master symbol for Cloud where all of his unique animations are contained, so I can pick and mix. Now it's interesting, like if I do it this way, and I want him to blink and to speak at the same time, I'm going to have to create unique frames for that within this symbol. If I created a unique blink animation that, like in its own symbol, however, I could take that to the main timeline and make him blink whenever I like I did with the bunny rabbit. So I'm wondering if that's what I should probably do. You know what? It's probably a good idea, but for now we'll just make him blink here. He said with a touch of foreboding. Now,
Misty Phantom says, yo, Baron, I can dig it. How was your Christmas, Anthony? I hope you had a good one. Happy 2020.
it was plenty good. We got a lot of souls this year. Stuff them in my palantir, and I listen to their dreams and wails of woe. Yes, they certainly thrill me. I don't even know if Sweetie can hear this. Can anyone else? Okay. So what we can do to make an eyelid blink in Flash, first of all, this is just one frame. I've hit enter. Enter usually plays the thing. That might be different in Animate, I'm not sure, but enter for Flash 8 is go. It's go time. Because it's only one frame, it doesn't, the playhead will not move. So let's give it some frames. I'd say 15 frames to be safe. Hit F5 at, you select any number of frames here, like shown, it'll enter frames for these elements on these layers only. So you can see here, that's what's on that layer. And oh, you can actually see here. Let me show you this. This symbol only contains what's in the foreground for Cloud. We go back to the main timeline. We can make Cloud invisible, and his his other leg behind the table has to be on its own layer, its own separate layer over here. I didn't even bother making it a symbol. It's just floating there awkwardly. Yeah. And let me show you. The table right here is a collection of tables, actually. But this is the one. And in order to give it a handy shadow, I created a gradient shadow effect and stuck it on its own layer underneath. The problem with that is when I stick Cloud's leg behind the table, you can very faintly see here that his foot is actually behind the shadow, and I think it doesn't really matter because it's all supposed to be in shadow anyway, and it's only a tiny little bit poking out there. But to do this properly, I'd probably get into this symbol here. I'd get to this frame here, and I'd remove the shadow, and I'd take it to the main timeline, and I'd stick it behind his leg, and I can't be stuffed doing that. It's such a pain in the bum, and it looks fine. It's fine. We'll deal with it. Just leave it the way it is. But that's, you know, these are the hazards of Flash, and why animating can be so very tedious, and so on. Oh, here's another handy little thing you might like to see. If you want to draw a wall, aside from adding things like gradients and cracks to it, and this stuffed me up forever. Why didn't my wall look like a wall up against that wall? Against that
Misty
floor?
Phantom says, God damn it, Anthony's voice is sexy. Blushes. Mwahaha, I should it.
Oh, Misty. You gotta calm down now. No, we won't have any of that. Okay, so if you want to draw a neat looking wall, I had to actually go researching this. It's got a skirting board. All walls that meet the carpet should, or really ought, in your house probably has a skirting board. If you notice there, it just doesn't look right. And I sat there for far too long wondering why that wall did not look right. It just doesn't. And then, of course, the answer is skirting board. Put a skirting board in there and it seems to... Oh, of course. Now it's properly sealed. This is an actual establishment.
Luximus says, challenge thing. If I lose, you have full bragging rights and some cash from Patreon.
Oh.
If you lose, you have to come to America again, which also involves her giving you money.
I want to pay my own way. I'm a man.
That's so nice. All right, challenge accepted. Like, I totally wouldn't want to come to America anyway. Totally. I miss you guys. Wonderful. 2017, man. It's fantastic. Excellent BronyCon. Sorry I missed the last one, to be honest. Now, I have to ask myself at this point, there comes a time in everybody's life, where did his character go? Where's my character? I've probably just made that layer invisible. There it is. If you're not really switched on, it's another thing that'll drive you nuts and give you a proper headache. Is that you have to hold a lot of details in your head when working in Flash, and you have to kind of think. You've got to think fourth dimensionally, Marty. You got to think ahead and think many layers deep while you're doing it, and be brave because you spent hours making this freaking picture look vaguely like a friend's OC. What are you gonna do next? Oh, I'm gonna cut a piece out of his leg right here and stick it behind the scenery, and I'll stuff it up forever. Potentially stuff it up forever. And even if it doesn't totally stuff it up, Flash just added more vertexes where I cut it, and it's like, hate you, it's over, I can't handle anymore. Yeah, so right now I'm sort of biting my fingers going, if I want to change Cloud's face, if I want to have him open his mouth, I have to completely redraw his mouth. I have to give him another one. And this is all line art and stuff. It's going to be a disastergasm. So, well, I'm going to do something nice and simple and cheap first, and we're going to animate his eyeball. His eyeball. We're going to animate his blinking lids. And that means, bonk, like so. And give him some frames. So every single element on this layer now, from top to bottom, is now has 15 frames within this symbol. And including over here. And these are the only things that are going to animate. The two things of his eye right here. Now, I'm not sure about this. What I think I'm going to do is demonstrate motion tweens. Motion tweening is, if you remember, where we take an object and we make that invisible, and so you just isolate this object. Where we take an object, make a keyframe later somewhere in the thing. I hit F6 to create a new keyframe, and I move the object thusly because it's ungrouped. I go down to properties here in tween and give it a shape tween, and that should actually change this. Whoa, not there. Between the two keyframes, I select anywhere on the timeline and I give it a shape tween, and this is what Flash does to me. Isn't it beautiful? And
I'm sure it's lovely, although I'm not seeing it because then I'd confuse myself hearing your voice twice.
Okay. Right. So this is obviously not what an eyelid looks like when it's blinking. So we've got to be a little more clever than this. Fortunately, Flash has done this. The first thing we can do is differentiate. So that was just a little demonstration, I promise. And we'll go backspace, back, like so. And we'll do this properly. The first thing we can do is differentiate these layers, these princess layers. I think an eyelash protrudes over the eyelid, so that's going to be on its own layer above the eyelid layer. The eyelid layer. So we're going to insert a new layer. I cut that image, Control C, Control X actually, not for copy but for cutting.
Everyone says they can dig it, Baron. And also, Kaneko is back in the chat. Hi, Kaneko.
Hey, Kanako, we'll get around to your OC sooner rather than later. Hey! And we'll paste this eyelash over the eyelid like that in its own layer above. So this is a totally different layer.
Z-Blaze Grayson, I think. Are you planning to release your project, the one that you're working on right now, on your YouTube channel when it's done?
Yes. If there still is a YouTube and there still is a Western Hemisphere, where by the time this video is eventually released and you can all take time away from your HoloLenses and flying cars to come and see my ancient cartoon. Yes. By then ancient cartoon. Yes, probably on my YouTube channel. I'd actually like to honestly make a new show. I've been toying around doing some other things with my YouTube channel, but this is a labor of love. It's a back burner project I wanted to make into a thing, and then life kicked me around the block, kicked me all over the show, and I didn't really. I lost love for it. I lost passion for it, but it wouldn't go away because I like this script. I spent a month writing it. It's not bad. And I just want to complete what I've done here. It's like, this is too much to say goodbye to. So even if I don't do anything else, I can tinker away at this for half an hour every day. Why not? And here we are. I'm tinkering away at it with you. Yeah. So yeah, on YouTube. Now we're gonna create some keyframes now. Keyframe. FIM. And we're gonna put
Point A, point B, and everything in between.
keyframes here. Now I select both of the frames over here, and we're going to see what this looks like. Now, keyframes down here, donk, 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 and we move these eyelids down here like that. I'm sorry if this seems so tedious. I know Silver Quill must be like, he wants me to animate in this program? Get out of town. No way. Well, yeah. And we can select both of the timelines between the two keyframes here and go down to tween and give it some shape love. And look at that. Look at that. Because the two colors are differentiated, they're actually two totally separate shape tweens. And motion, there's no rotation or morphing at all. It doesn't try to blend anything. It doesn't try to morph anything. It just makes them kind of just do what I want them to, which is to lower Cloud's lids, like so. And I think that looks, for now, it doesn't look like much, but we're getting there. We're actually getting there. Now, what we're going to have to do here is completely readjust. And like I say, there's no real drawing for me in Flash. There's molding, like pottery. It's like...
Kichi asks if you have a nickname for your fans. I recommend the Tonettes.
Honestly, having fans is such a weird concept for me that all I think of you is you dear, lovely, sweet, amazing, silly people that I don't understand. I love you so much. And that there you are. That's your... whatever Sweetie Bloom decides. the who are they? The Tonettes? Yeah, oh dear. So, we're gonna make, getting back to it, we're gonna make some magic here with Cloud's eyelids. And this is where it takes a little bit of intuition and style for eyelids. I noticed, I think Cloud? Viva? No, I don't know if Viva does this. Crown Prince does something similar to this. I don't know how it does blinking animation, but I think it's either frame by frame or motion tweens. Sorry, shape tweens. And we're going to do a blink entirely in that's what we're doing. We're making a blink entirely made out of shape tweens. And we're going to see if we can get Flash to play ball. And we're going to use our molding skills here to mold. Actually, I don't like them invisible. We're going to make everything wireframe. That's it, except the layer. Except the layer we're working on. And to give it some sort of three-dimensional depth, we're going to create a... Delete that. Delete you, don't need you. We're going to create an eyelash ouvert, blinking down here. It's going to be nice and sexy
So
and
it seems
luscious.
they've caught up to the Antony America Fund. They are all in favor. Recalling, Silver recalls that BronyCon 2017 was a joy. Kichi says that she will donate to the Antony in America Fund if you decide to come. And Clan Unite. And everybody lamenting not being able to hug you.
You're so lovely, I don't know what to say. That was the thing about BronyCon. BronyCon was, all I wanted to do there was provide value. I wanted it to be a really excellent thing. So I spent up big. I spent huge going to that, doing the thing. And everyone, all my friends are doing vendor hall stuff and walking out with more money than they started. And they did the smart thing. I went and I just spent everything trying to make a great panel, trying to provide, like, I'm only coming to America this one time, that decade. It's my first time to America. I'm gonna make it amazing. I'm gonna see what I can do. So we went all out. We kind of went ham on the expenses. So I don't know about that. But I do appreciate. I really appreciate how many people have said we loved you. We want you back. Maybe I should but do a budgetary thing. We'll see how much you love me when you're paying for me. Oh dear. So here we have, basically you can see what I've done here is I've created a nice thick luscious lash that has come down over his eye. The eye, of
Viva,
course.
in his infinite wisdom, says, "Psst, Antony, name your layers. If you do, then redrawing that mouth won't be such an arduous task."
Oh, he's so. She's so wise. She's got the absolute. She's called me out. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is how you label layers.
Sorry.
Double click on them. Lash. Like so, and that's what you got to do. This is a one-time use thing for Cloud. I think maybe Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I'll probably label these things when I get into, yeah, look, I'll label this one. We double click up here, layer 4, we'll change it to head. That's some good head. I'm terribly sorry. Terribly sorry. So, oh dear. Okay, so now this is be the real test. We're gonna isolate that layer again. Nope, not that one. This one. And this is the real test of emotion tween. Did it work? It didn't. It totally stuffs up because it's confusing the top and the bottom of the final image. And I don't know, guys. I think it's a piece of crap, and we'll have to burn it all. No, actually, let's not do that just yet. Let's see if we can help it out. You're gonna do a bit of stuffing around here, but the interesting thing about Flash is it has an interesting tool. If I hit Control, Shift, and H, it should give me. It won't give me. I've got to select the keyframe. I'll select this keyframe. Control, Shift, and H, or Insert Timeline Motion Guide. Not Motion Guide. What the fudge is it called? I think it's called a Shape Hint. Senses, Effects, Blur, Transform, Timeline, Keyframe, Frame, Layer, Modify, Shape. Modify, Shape, Add Shape Hint. And this will help Flash to understand. Of course, I click away and it totally disappeared, but you can get it back. Control, Alt, and H shows the shape. Control, Alt, and H shows the shape hint. This is exclusively a Flash 8 thing. I'm pretty sure Adobe Animate has something similar. It may even retain its shape hints. I remember reading about the new features make this look quaint and old-fashioned, but this is what I'm doing now. Just give you an idea of what I usually do, the torture I put myself through. When you snap a shape hint to a line, and you're supposed to snap them to lines, you can see now Flash kind of knows what. No, it doesn't. It's stuffed up even worse. So in my terrible ignorance and stupidity, and true stupidity, wrong layer, will stuff around with shape lens. And you can see as I add extra shape hints, they Control, Alt, and H. Yeah, I said Control, Alt, and H. Show me. Yes, I stuff around in Flash's infinite wisdom. It adds extra shape hints. It's not lettered. So the first one is A, the second one is B, and connect them. Oh, looky, what's happened? Oh my goodness, oh my gosh. Magic. I was actually thinking that wouldn't work. Magical. So his eye actually started to begin to see what we're doing here. His eye closes. And now it's just a simple matter of doing the similar thing with the blocker. And the blockage? I've got a blockage. The blocker, the background blocker. Now this may not work. This may not work. And that's okay. Because we can stuff around until we get it right. The trick will actually be to get it to open again. Zip. And we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. But let's just get the blocker working. The cornea blocker. The white of the eye is the cornea, yes? Yeah. So we'll get there. They are. Down there like that. Feel free to cheese it, everyone. We're going to be here for a little while. I know this isn't like my usual content, and that's kind of why I'm been a bit pensive about this. Is that not a content fellow? I'm a work of art fellow. Oh, everything I make has to be a work of art, don't you know? Oh. But just worried if this is boring for you. I don't mind if you it's not what you signed up for. You can kiss off. So this is why it's a bit tedious, but I'm just seeing.
So it looks like everybody is trying to pull for you to go to Everfree Northwest. Seems to be the go-to for the Antony Comes to America Fund.
I see how it is. Now, what I can do, I've never been to Everfree. Actually, I haven't been to the state of the city in which it is in. Have I? Where is Neverfree? Everfree? Where is it? Where's that thing? I would love to come, guys. I would love to. Might be starting a new job elsewhere, actually. So I'm not sure how it's all gonna pan out. We'll see. Right now, I'd like to make that cheddar. So we'll see how this all turns out. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to fill it in, and obviously I can stuff around with this image like as it is until I get it just right. But what might be helpful is if I can actually do here is a bit of a cheat. I can grab this image here, copy this image straight from the first, go to the final frame, hit Control Shift V to paste in place, and now if we take a look at that image, this is what it looks like all blended together. And we can see we've got a perfect crease at the top of his eye. What the fudge am I doing? Perfect crease at the top of his eye should be just fine. Like that, and we keep that nice crease. And the crease is actually just the outline of his eye that I didn't bother changing at all. So. And you want to keep a crease in your character's eye to define it where it exists.
So apparently I missed called yourself boring, and everyone is chastising for you. Kamiko says that she likes this. Misty says not bored at all. You're really funny. Learned a lot watching other people. Server says you did this amazingly and it was a grand time. So yes, how dare you?
How dare! Okay. You know how it is. Tortured artist. This is me pretending to be a tortured artist. Okay, so I'm not. If this is where Flash ain't gonna play ball right here. It's not gonna let me have my treasured crease. I want my crease! Damn it! I want my crease! Give it to me! Okay, so I wanted that the blocker to meet the bottom of the eyelid just here, like so. That would be very handy. It would be handy. Handy tip: when you select a vertex on a shape, what have I done? Okay, like so. For precision sake and for
Misty Phantom, in referring to Everfree Northwest, says it's in Washington State. I think I heard half of you asking. It is in Seattle, Washington.
Right.
So yeah, she also offers to be your tour guide. And Kichi also says that they got a bunch of people together to get British Ninja to BrodyCon. Don't tempt her with a good time. Never underestimate people with disposable cash, says Kichi.
Thank you, guys. Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys got disposable cash. What am I doing for a living? Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's see if this works out, and we'll see if I can get back into making things for you. I'm gonna have to take a nature call in a minute, but we'll all do it collectively, shall we? I don't know. What I was saying about. Let me fix this vertex. You can see here, this is a bit of a wonky vertex, which I really wouldn't worry about because when it's not selected like so, and because it's the same color as cloud, it just completely blends in. And if that were all there were to it, that would be all there were to it. But I'm trying to add motion tweens to it, so the simpler the shape and the less vertexes, the better. So I can select a single one there, like that, and delete it, which I will, like so. Just hit delete on your keyboard. You can hit backspace, but in some programs, backspace means other junk. So it's a good idea to get in the habit of using delete when you want something to go away. Backspace, it probably works in Flash, but it's a bad habit to be in. So I always prompt people to use delete. Delete! I prompt them to delete, delete, delete. Meanwhile, this vertex is a good teaching opportunity right here. I select a single vertex like that. You can see when you've got one selected, its little dot is filled in. You've got select the outline like that, and its vertex isn't filled in. It means that they're all selected. That's a little hang up of Flash. And when you use the arrow keys, say I select one vertex like that, move the vertex around. For people with obsessive compulsive disorder like me, and crazy perfectionists like me, you can stuff around to your heart's content, getting everything pixel perfect. And there comes a point in every picture I ever draw, I find myself the image is complete, and then I'm stuffing around with every tiny little micro nanometer of width and frame and position of pixels and vertexes, and then the voice in my head says, "Let it go, you silly man. They won't even notice." Anyway. Select the outline and you can move the entire thing at once because you have every vertex selected. Hold down Shift and drag over separate vertexes to select a collection of them. And hold down Shift while moving the arrow keys to move, instead of just one little pixel at a time, you can select 10 of them, move them at 10 at a time while holding down Shift. That's how that works. Isn't that nice? All part of the service in Anthony's helpful world of useless information you don't care about. Well, you should care. I'm trying to get you to care. So, this is a quirk of Flash over here. I want to keep the velocity. See, right here. I want to keep the velocity of this vertex, the velocity and angle more than anything. The angle of this vertex, I can stuff around with it. But you see, this shape is supposed to be there to define the crease in the top of Cloud's eyeball. Unless that's what I'm trying to do. The thing is, though, the other side doesn't come down far enough. What I've got here is a bit of a conundrum, because down here, the quirk of Flash is this line comes out of this vertex at a straight right angle, which means that there is no velocity toggle. What the heck? What the heck am I going to do? And if I try and manipulate this one, I could just grab this toggle right here and bring it out like that. But you see, that's changed the angle of the crease ever so slightly, which probably won't matter, but it might look a little funky. It might look a little funky. What the fudge am I gonna do? Well, here's where you can do a number of things. You can probably just use the select tool like that to grab it like that. No, didn't work, because you see it stuffed up my angles. Or you can use the pen tool to hopefully add another vertex here. And see, I don't know if you can see that, but right here the pen has changed to a little and hopefully on that line, or the edge, the boundary edge there, it's added another vertex like so. If you don't want to be bothered with that, you simply select the line tool and oh, where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Okay. And you can cut into it like so and manipulate the vertex right there like that. And that's hopefully going to give us a point at which you can drag the boundary edge sort of, I guess, unnaturally away from the vertex here without changing its velocity or angle. And get rid of that one like that. And like so. It's still not added yet another angle toggle for this line here like that. But in order to force it to have one, we can use our free selection tool, hit V on the keyboard to use this and drag it out like that to turn a straight line into a bend. And hopefully, if we take a look at our vertices, yep, it's added our nice little thingamajig there. We can grab with the sub-selection tool, that's the white arrow, which is A. You can grab these two vertexes here. And this is the thing about a line. A line is just coordinates. It's just two vertexes. And when you select two vertices, disappear. And hit delete, you can get rid of the entire line at once.
Now I feel bad because a lot of people are giving you advice and it's all gibberish to me. So I'm just going to give it to you wholesale.
Okay.
Lux says use the paintbrush or add another point. Viva says paste in place is too useful to be regulated to Control-Shift-V. I assigned it to numpad.
Oh, I see. A numpad. Is there a sort of bind or a hotkey or something if you've had to do that, or is there an option for that? Yeah, that makes sense. I typically keep my hands in the WASD position, just because my keyboard sits there. But so I should be over by the number pad, should I? All right. So here we are. Eyelid, eyelash, and they both have motion tweens. Let's see how this worked. Very badly. Oh, very badly. And then our good old friend, Mr. Shape Hints, will give us some help. Now, I'm going to just use the hotkey commands here. Shift, Control, and H. You're getting this, kids? Shift, Control, and H will hopefully give me a brand new shape hint. I'm going to use that and put it... Actually, I don't know what I'm... Everything invisible, but what I want to do here. It's very fiddly, but I'm going to put the thing here like that, like so. I'm going to go down to there, and don't worry if you don't get it right on the first go. In the same exact position. And yeah, you can see how it now knows that that part of the picture is where it's supposed to go, but for whatever nonsense reason, the right side of the original image is being turned into the left side.
It looks like Silver is calling it a night, so...
It's probably...
night, Silver?
Yeah, it's probably 1,000,000 o'clock over there. Good night, Silver! Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Okay, Silver Quill. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Sometimes I've worked out with these morph techniques where I've had like no less than 10 of these shape hints trying to make everything better. But because this shape hint is trying to get it to swap sides for some reason, I'm gonna tell Flash no. Where it is on the right side here, B, it should be probably about here as well on the finished image. So it's gonna look at that. It's actually gonna sort of almost work. Yeah. If we look at the full thing, it's a pretty funky looking eyelid, but still. So I reckon it's probably just about there. It's working more or less. I want this portion of the eyelid here where it touches the lash to be the same basic approximate here, down here, like that. And I think this might be stuffing us up, this vertex. Yeah, it's a funky vertex with funky angles. Let's blend these two a velocity so that it's now just one straight entry and exit point. And we're going to tell Flash that I'd like you, with a nice Shift Roll H hint, to make this point of the brown the equal opposite. I'll move it down again. Whoa, down here. So we'll grab, you see the second keyframe here, you can see that's our third, or letter C shape hint brought to the middle of the screen. We'll bring it down here to the eyelash. And yeah, like so. And this is the part where the gods of Flash will either reward you with many sweetmeats and shower great benefits upon you, or tell you you suck and you must try again. Kind of worked on the right side, but it stuffed up the left side. Yeah, okay, that's great. Okay. Now, I read somewhere that shape hints are actually supposed to be arrayed, and we can't see them at the moment, but select one of the start or the exit points. Control Alt H gives it. Control Alt H shows the shape hints, and they're all yellow, which means they're connected and working right. You are actually supposed to array your shape hints in a clockwise fashion, so we're doing well here, it seems. And I reckon just one more with Control Shift H. One more, we get the D. That eyelash is in the way, so I'm gonna.
So, Misty Phantom,
Like
who I
so.
swear is trying to get me to set you two up even more, is asking how old you are, and
Oh, no.
also adds that she is 25 as of last November.
Oh, great.
Well, my dearie, welcome to actual adulthood.
I, boys and girls, am 38. So I do appreciate, and I also warn you that
This rickety old man, he might be a bit beyond you.
Yeah, great, pushing 40. What are you gonna do? Okay, so we now have a connected thing down there, but for some reason, it's just decided that it's not. It's wait, B, D. Yeah, it decided it's just stuffed up B and D together, and this is the thing. I also read Once Upon a Blue Moon that you shouldn't add it to
Okay, Viva
corners.
once again comes through with her advice. She says you can hold Alt to toggle without controlling the other side, Anthony.
Alt to without controlling the others. Are you talking about vertices? Alt to control an angle without. Okay, does this work? Holy cow, it works! Holy moly! That's very, very cool. Thank you, Viva! That's very cool. But what do you do? Oh, Palo mine. What do you do when you get a right angle vertex? Or a right angle line coming out of a vertex that has no velocity toggle? What do you do then, huh? How do I add? Is there a button to add a vertex angle? Okay. Yeah. How about them apples? So I'm gonna figure out what the fudge is happening with the D. The D ain't doing it for me. And
Oh my.
no, it's
I love how that's the part Discord decides to have me hear very clearly.
oh, I tried, man. The D ain't doing it for me. Oh wait! Oh my gosh! Oh, it looks like a lead that's
Also,
blinking.
Twyfight Sparkhill says you are a handsome 38 and with a kissy emoji. So more shipping for me.
Oh, Twitter. With your mind on one thing. Twitterverse, YouTubeverse. It's a nice and good and wholesome thing, but look at what we just did. Look at what we did. What just happened there, if I'm not mistaken, was that as per the advice I read about, for some reason Flash, not that any of you are going to be using Flash 8, but just in case, just FYI, Flash 8 does not like you using shape hints on corners. So stick it on a line. So these are the corners where I stuck it originally. Stick it on a line. It actually seems to work much better. Much better. Look at that. It worked. And now you can all point and laugh as this. Oh, he's bored. What are you telling him, Kaneko? And there it is. So that's a very slow blink that seems to work. Motions, shapes, things moving around like that. This is how we do things in Flash. And again, I'm terribly sorry if it's too slow and tedious. Like I say, I was talking to a friend, John, about he was a raster artist who moved into Flash, and he's like, "Oh, this sucks. I hate it." and all of the points he was making were exactly what I've had to deal with for these many moons. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I should completely learn a totally different way of animating anything, because this is how I do things. And you can see how it pops, right? It's very crisp. It's very clear. The results when you get them are great, but to make a blinking eye, we just spent half an hour making a blinking eye, and it's not even there yet. So, give or take, it's up to you. We haven't even opened this eye, which is the other half of this animation, which again involves taking these assets and making more frames. I think we'll try that. You can notice how it just because I've moved these keyframes closer together, that's representative of less amount of time on the timeline, and it makes his eye close faster. It's probably still a bit slow, actually. I think. Yeah, people just flip their eyes, right? And this just goes to show you it's probably not necessary to go to all this trouble for motion tweens and shape tweens and whatnot. But the beauty of doing it this way is that there is no limit to how long if you want him to blink. There's no limit to how long you want it how long it takes if you want it. You can make it last half an hour if you want, and Flash will fill in all the frames automatically. That's that. There are problems with this every so often for absolutely no reason. All of the shape hints will completely disappear, and you'll be left with an ugly mess. For that reason, when I'm absolutely locked in 100% certain that my shapes have moved where I want to, I've got the timing down right, what I'll do here is I'll select the frames in between 2 points and go to convert to keyframes, like so. So that as it is right there, now that they're all keyframes, the motion between them is defunct. It doesn't apply. It's trying to make a motion between two separate frames, which is absolutely not necessary. And then when you've got that, you just get rid of remove tween like that, and now you have you actually do have a frame by frame animation. You've animated it by hand, frame by frame. Only it is mathematically precise. So if you're an obsessive fool like me, that's it. You know what? That is so good. I don't think we really need any more than that. I was going to do the other side and show you the other side, but the other side is just doing the reverse of that. We'll be taking these frames here, or taking the individual image from each frame here, like so, and then copy like that, create a keyframe over here, like that, and stick it in there, or like so, and then reapplying a motion, shape tween in there, like that, going like that, shape there, and then reapplying more shape hints and whatnot to get it to look right. But that's all we need. I think we just did it. We did it. We made Cloud close his eyes. It's halfway to a blink. But you know what? Because this is going to sit on the timeline like this, like so. When it comes to a moment in the show where I want Cloud to blink, like so, I'm going to add a special keyframe there and tell the animation to select that frame, you know? And now, this is where it gets a bit fiddly. Because I've dramatically altered the one instance of Cloud. This is the only symbol of Cloud Cooker Country in the show thus far. And it's of his whole body, and I just had everything on one frame in the animation, like so. Anytime it appears on the main timeline now, you're gonna get this.
Listen, sweet cheeks, I'm looking for a panda wearing a big stone hat.
So that's it.
Lux says to both you and I that British Ninja says hi and Happy New Year to his girlfriend's parents. Also, don't kill him. He's doing his best.
Why would we want to kill him? Why would we want to kill him? Oh, that's right. He's dating my daughter! My daughter, you brigand! Well, you know, he hasn't completely stuffed it up yet. He hasn't tried to sell me a Ponzi scheme or anything. Yeah. So, this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a facet of Animate as well. So this is what you got to do. When something's on the main timeline like
listen,
so,
sweet
this is a graphics symbol. So it's just graphics. So it will play on the timeline as is. There are a couple of different symbols. You want to take an object like, here's an object I just made. Isn't it glorious? It's Cloud's tea-stained kidney. And you want to turn it into a symbol for the library, and so that you can motion tween it around the place. We click on that, and the simplest way is to just hit F8, and it will convert this object that you've selected, all the objects you've selected, into a symbol. And you get your choice of things. You get a graphic symbol, a button, that's for interactive media. So long Flash, I don't think we'll be using that much of that anymore. And a movie clip symbol. Movie clip symbols can have action script attached to them, so that they are actually part of it's kind of like a half and half animation program for interactive media and so on. So but they do not play. So don't be confused. Movie clips are not really helpful for animators. Just make everything a graphic and you'll understand that here, when I turn this into a graphic symbol, I think it's either F8's the thing. Convert to symbol. Yeah, it's under modify. Convert to symbol. So with this selected, I go to convert to symbol. I give it a name. Clouds. Tea stained kidney. And I don't actually remember why I told you that.
Since Viva blew your mind last time she had advice, I'm going to just say, she says, adding angles is wonky. There might be an easier way, but what I do is tweak the angle slightly with the black mouse tool.
Yeah.
It'll probably create other extra vertices, which you can delete. But it also probably adds the angle you want, which you can then tweak.
That's exactly what they did. Class, what did we just do? That's exactly it. I'm glad to know that there's not some fantastic. Thank you for that. I'm happy now to know that there's not some fantastic shortcut that I simply don't know because I'm a diddly ass, dumbass. Don't know what I'm doing there.
Also, I would have done a completely different angle to achieve what you just achieved. It would have been far easier to just draw in each frame than to fiddle about with a shape tween.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Miss
Says the wise one.
Miss Genius over there with your fantastic skills. But you know, like I say, just like an illustration, and like I say, if you want it mathematically precise, yeah, it's a way of doing it. Oh yeah, no, I was. Well, thank you for your commentary as well. Anyone who's commentating, thank you. If you want your once you've got a graphic symbol on here like this, you'll notice down in the properties inspector, and I'm not sure how you pull that up. It might be Windows properties. Yeah, the properties, Windows properties. Pull it up here at the bottom of the screen, and you'll notice that there is an instance of Cloud's tea-stained kidney selected, and you have the option to swap it. And here you have loop and play once, the drop-down box with loop, play once, and single frame. Single frame is just the frame of this one instance. We go into the instance right here, and there's just one frame. There's only one. There can be only one. But which is fine for this Cloud's tea-stained kidney. But, and we'll get rid of that. Don't need that. But for Cloud himself, as a complete symbol right here, an instance of a symbol, we've just given him a whole bunch of extra frames, and the problem we're having is that on the timeline, he won't stop blinking! So we go, with that selected, we go back down to our properties inspector, and we see that he's set to loop. So what we actually want is for him to go single frame. The single frame is the first frame, and we get to choose the number here. This is all arranged differently in Animate, which is probably what you'll be using. But it's still there the same. There's basically all these parameters are universal to Flash. So we
You what? Listen, sweet
I mean,
cheeks,
see,
I'm
he
looking
stopped.
for
He stopped blinking.
handout.
This graphics symbol is now locked to the 1, or stopped at the 1 frame, the first frame. Now, if I want him to blink,
What?
if I want him to blink,
You what?
and this is where everyone using Animate and Frame Caddy and a whole bunch of extra extensions for modern programs gets to laugh at me, but this is what I do. It's what the only thing you really can do in Flash. When I want Cloud to blink, I can now, let's see, give him individual frames that move to. Now, if I'm smart, look, here's what I'm going to do. If I'm smart, I'm going to lock this one over here. This frame, add a keyframe up here, has the same exact properties. It's a instance of Cloud, and it is a single frame, and it is locked to the first frame, like so, in this static position. So that I'm just planning ahead here, because what I'm going to do with this frame earlier in the thing is set it to, and I'm going to have to get in here and take a look at this, frame 2, a frame 3, a frame 4, a frame 5. I'm probably just going to set this frame here to frame 3, like so, yeah,
Listen.
like so, and the next one to frame 4, and we'll add another one. Hit F6 here, and another keyframe, frame 5, like so. And he closes his eyes pretty quickly, I think.
Listen.
Still too slow, damn it. But we got more frames than we need. Frame 5. And maybe I'll let that last for 2 frames. We'll see how it looks. We can change it. And now it's on frame 5. And we go back to frame 4. And handy tip, you can use the arrow brackets to scrub through the timeline if you've selected the timeline. 1 frame at a time, like so. But we're not going to do that yet. We're going to go to frame, that's frame 4. Next one is new keyframe. Select it, the instance, and we'll go frame 3. Next one is frame down. I want them. I want them all because I find in animation, I'll use all the frames of this that we just created. Frame 2. Because I find people, it seems more effective when people blink quickly. They close their eyes quickly and they open them slower, just a little bit slower. And it might just be my observation, but I think it's I think that works. I think it's worked. So that's frame 2. Now we know that frame 1 is, I'm pretty sure, with his eyes as open as they get, which is nice. So we're at the last frame here is frame 2. Then we go to frame. We could go to frame 1, but we know that this instance over here already has him at frame 1, so we'll just. Is that 1? Is that 2? We'll just drag it there. And now.
Listen, sweet cheeks.
Hey, that's not bad. That's not.
Cheeks. I'm looking for. Listen, sweet cheeks. I'm looking.
Huh? He blinks. I think Viva's got it right. For Kaneko, we're just gonna draw his eye. I think I do that with the bunnies. So yeah, the bunnies blink.
Listen, sweet
Whenever
cheeks.
they
I'm
blink,
looking for
what do
a
they do when
panda
they
wearing a big stone hat.
Stop
You can't
that.
miss him. He's
Blink.
a little dude about
One of
8
you.
high, wearing a huge granite tower thing on his head, like a totem pole made of rock.
There you go. I saw a blink. I saw a blink.
A totem pole.
I think I just drew that manually. I still have the lid and the lash on separate layers, I'm pretty sure. If we go in here, we take a look. Bunny girl blink. Yeah, so I just did a bunch of eyeballed it. I kind of had to because her eyelashes get in the way. So you can see like that and like so. I had to create some funky looking mask. Let me just show you my Pokemons. Yeah, you can see that right there. Funky looking mask to retain the eye and block out the eyelashes, which wouldn't make sense when they're down. So they're supposed to be down here. But yeah, like so. I like so. And then I just gave up on all of that and stuck a what the heck did I do? I just made a closed eyelid shape for one of them and then tweened it on the actual timeline. So I don't know why I'm bothering with all this stuff because you just
Totem pole made of rock. You seen him?
create an eyelid and do it freestyle. I don't know.
Do me a
Oh
You
yeah,
baby.
he's gone
Spot
green again. Now this is where I'm
listen, sweet
just like a complete novice, complete noob, and,
listen, sweet.
and it doesn't, you know, everyone can laugh at me, but when I want him to blink again, I've kind of created 2 sets of animations. First inside the symbol right here, and this one up here as well, which means
Listen, sweet
which means I'm in hell. I've got to, if I want him to blink just
listen,
so
sweet cheek.
again, I've got to take these frames and reapply them elsewhere, which can be a trick, a real trick, because how am I going to do that? Well, I can copy frames, I suppose, and move them, let's say, here. But this is going to stuff things up, so I'll show you how it stuffs things up. Paste frames like so, and you see it's actually, it hasn't overlaid those frames, it's moved the timeline forward and added more frames in here. So to get rid of these frames, I can right click and I can remove frames, or I can possibly do is just hit Shift F5, get rid of them like that.
You see? Oh, made a rock. You seen him?
And that's how we do that. I don't know.
Listen, sweet cheeks, I'm looking for a panda wearing a big stone hat. You can't miss him. He's a little dude about yay high.
So, next part of the puzzle is the next part of the puzzle before I melt. Yeah?
Viva once again gives their advice. If you want it mathematically precise, making the lid a graphic and motion tweening, it would have worked just as well and much, much faster.
Yes, I know. Probably a good idea.
Sweet cheek.
Let me just show you. I think my Pokemons. Let me show you them. I think I gave up on this in like this business, and I think I actually did do that.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Bunny right here. Bunny number 1. Actually, where's bunny number 1? Come on, where are you?
I will not.
That's weird. Yes. Oh, yeah. I think just for sanity's sake, yeah, I created a separate animation symbol where it automatically blinks at the speed I want it to. So, yeah. That's a good idea. Let's do that from now on.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
And here,
I will.
it's just lots more masking and whatnot, and creating
I will not try.
elements that block things out. A lot of stuffing around with layers to create elements to move things that aren't on the main timeline. And it's like, yeah, I gave up and I said I'm not stuffing around in symbols anymore. Let's just do let's do it freestyle on the main timeline. What am I doing? Oh yeah, we're trying to animate Cloud.
Do me a favor.
Oh my goodness. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Let me just check what's going on here. Hey, Kiji. Oh, I can hear you. And the panda wearing a big stone hat. Lovely.
You what?
Okay, alright, so with that all done, let's bite the bullet and do the scary thing and completely stuff up Cloud Cuckoo Country forever. It won't be that bad, I promise. Yes, hopefully. I'm doing it the wrong way, to be honest. I know it. I know it's true. So I'm gonna get rid of that and these layers right here to put that back where it was. And my terrible, no good, bad, awful techniques right here. So, with a mouth animation, which is, again, I know for all the real animators out there, this is horribly frustrating for everyone, but this is what we're doing today. Because it's very, very simple, and it's only in the background, and it's only going to basically look like some conversation is happening, so it's not completely static. At this point in the animation, I think I'm going to use an open mouth, a w sound, so a closed pursed lips picture. I'm just going to save this while I'm at it. If it'll save. Oh, it looks good. Okay. And I think teeth. So teeth as well. If you're using, like, if you're going to have a conversation where people are angry with one another, they want gritted teeth and you want a down frowny face and all that sort of thing. But that's a story for another day. And I've just got to now sort of sit here with my brain in my hands going, how the heck do I manipulate this? And Right. So let's dig into it, shall we? Let's start with an open mouth. So we're gonna try and find out the layer his head's on. Yep, it's the head layer. Make it a separate symbol. We'll start with a separate symbol. Start with a separate symbol like so. And what I'm gonna do is find out where these vertices are doing their thing, because Cloud's got this. He's got this cute underbite beak, and it's about getting that chibi awesome look with his head. He's got the big eyes, big round head, lots of big forehead room and so on, and also a cute little beak. And it's I don't know if you can see the proportions here are that the first top of his head is like a large blank space, or probably a bit higher than that actually. So from there to there, to his eyes, there's this area where it's just eyebrow area basically, and everything else is contained in the lower half of his face. His eyes and his beak and his cute little chin and all that sort of thing. Unlike the very manly, real Cloud Cuckoo Country, where we're talking manly chins and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is, with this, trying not to stuff up the proportions, I'm going to grab his beak, just his beak, and freaking find out where the vertices are, and yeah, disassemble. To add a line to another line, you can grab one vertex of the line with the selection tool, hit snap to, which is the magnet icon, like so, and hopefully it'll snap to the edge of another vertex, but it's not doing it, so I don't know why it's not doing it. It hates me. It gets some grace, but not a lot, so we're gonna have to do our best with what we got and actually grab lines. Fortunately, I've kept them lines and colors like so, and separate them like so. You see, it begins to come together. So at this point, I wonder if I probably should actually convert his lines to fills, because we're gonna get some overlap. So I'll do that first. I think. Start again. Grab all the lines of his head at least. Modify, shape, convert lines to fills. And now we are in deep doo-doo. As you can see, if I want to put a line across that, it's got to cut the two areas. If I put the line across there like that, you'll see that it's actually now separating a big fill color that looks like lines. And yeah, it's a bit of a monster. See if I can get at least one of these done before the hour's out. And we'll find a point again here like so. I'm gonna make this line a lot thinner so that it's more like a surgical scalpel. We won't be confused by what it is, and a different color as well. So I'm gonna grab this line, and when you're selecting lines, you can actually move them across images like so, independent of what they're connected to. That ought to do it. I think. Double click the fill to select. No, don't double click the fill. Because it's now, the black is all one giant fill color. What I'm going to have to do is separate the bottom of his jaw from the top, or the underside of his top beak. And that means just spatially recognizing it right here, I've got to block off the fill areas like so. Like so. You can actually see where the edges are now. So you know, there's a color, and when you select it, you can see it like so. Yeah. If you double click a fill color, any lines connected to it will also separate. So I want that and the lines to move, and I want his whole lower beak to move out of there like that. And this is where you recognize that I just don't know what I'm doing. And so on and so on. And artistically speaking, this is where you kind of got to make a choice or two. You got to decide what exactly is his beak. How exactly does it connect? Do I rejoin it to the main image? Do I make it a separate symbol? Do I turn it into a group? What do I do? Let's start by getting rid of these green bits. And just to get the rough shape of where it should be, I'm going to turn it into a group so that it will not blend colors. So we select it and hit Control G to do that. And I'm going to guess that it's his jaw, so I'm going to use the free transform tool, and you can see the free transform tool has little dongles all over it to manipulate and rotate and what have you. Undo there. But you can also, with the free transform tool, change the registry where that works. So I'm going to move the registry point to here, and what this means is when I use the rotate dongles, it rotates around that registry, like so. It's very helpful. That's very good. So I imagine that when Cloud opens his mouth, it probably rotates a very little bit, not much. Jaws don't do that huge thing like so. And yeah, I don't know. Looks alright. Or if we're being really crafty and really amazing, we could decide that it's not just his beak that's moving, but you know, he actually does have a jaw under there like he's a horse. So we could probably move this area of his face as well by creating a bigger chunk. I don't know. Is it going to work again? It's not going to do it. Okay, I'll just make it a group again. I don't know if that's how bird faces work. I don't think it matters much. How...
I wish I knew more detail what you were talking about. I could tell you how bird faces work.
Yeah, and you can see how what I'm going to suggest is that the underside of his head isn't changing shape. It's just going to be his beak that moves, because the lower beak represents the jaw.
So Viva says, if it were me, grab his bottom jaw, put it on its own layer, use the free transform tool, move the transformation point to where his jaw would be, and rotate.
Right. But right now, that's exactly right. That's a good way of putting it. But right now, I'm trying to decide and discern what his jaw is. I just drew what I thought was a cute picture, but what's his jaw? Is it the beak, or is it this part as well? Does it incorporate his whole face? So what does that look like? You know, and we could be here for freaking ever. Okay, so we're gonna have to do something else with that. We're gonna have to say put it here arbitrarily, I don't know, and cut out, use the line tool to actually separate fill colors to cut out a piece, a nice slice of his face, right out of his face. Hey Cloud, I'll bill you for the plastic surgery. And like so, like so, and like so, and like yong and yong and yong and yong. I'll put it there. Is that his jaw? We don't know. It's impossible to say. Look at this nonsense. Look at what I am doing. I don't know what I'm doing. This is insane. So I see now it's behaving like like the tip of his beak, right? His underjaw, his underbeak is just the tip of his actual jaw, which might be more copacetic, might be more kosher, because we see that he's a humanoid. We have to remember that he's not just a bird, he's also a human character. Does that look better? I mean, green lines notwithstanding. Does it look better? I think it might actually look a bit better. See? And it's like that's going to be an open mouth. Yeah. A smiley open mouth. Remember, we got to do this all over again if he wants a frowny mouth. Because he's a humanoid character, and humans, their mouths open and close at the jaw. That might do it. That might be good. But as you can see, it's a million little problems. We're still not there yet. Go to the symbol. Get rid of the green. We don't need green anymore. It's not a symbol, it's a group. But, oh, looks like we still got a bit of the green. Still attached there for whatever reason. So, there are a number of ways we can do this. And we have to kind of decide now, what is his beak? Is it enough of a separate element to warrant its own line art? And I think, yes, at least as far as the colored part of his beak is concerned. His cheeks, maybe not. I don't know. We'll have a tinker. We'll see how it looks. We'll just have a look-see. We'll have a squiz. I might move the registry there so that the lines stick together. All of this is perfectly applicable to Pony. I don't know. It might be a bit much. Okie dokie. Yeah, it's looking good. But we have to realize that that's not. There's gaps now. What are we gonna do about the gaps? And more importantly, if I move that back like so, when he opens his mouth here, what does it look like when it's open? All we've done there is taken a 2D image and cut a piece out of it, so we're kind of gonna have to draw his face in there. We're gonna have to draw the rest of the beak as it would appear. And yes, I do believe Viva is quite correct. We're gonna have to put this on another layer. A layer like so. We add layers up here like that. And it's gonna be an under layer, so I'll put it underneath the general head layer like so. Pacha! And now, oh, I put it back on the same layer. So we'll have to select that, add a keyframe, hit F7, paste in place like so. Rotate it to the position we want. Maybe back a bit. And you can see now it sort of slides underneath that layer. So we've got a bit of leeway. Make him look a little inbred. Why not? Why not indeed? Like so. Now we can see a couple of problems with this. The first being, most glaring, is his massive Captain Vidal gash in his face. But we'll get to that in a minute. What I want to do is I want to hopefully get into this group here and fix it. Oh no! Flash hates me! You cannot manipulate vertices in a group. So I'm going to have to do the stupid thing. And the fudge is going on. Okay, that's great. I want it to be the right angle, so we'll move it back there, like so. And break it apart. And maybe make his head disappeared. Why did we... Stuffing around with symbols, you know. Oh yeah, I should say, breaking apart, if you got a symbol like that, any kind of symbol, or in this case a group of objects, and you don't want them to be that anymore, but on the same timeline in which you're operating, Control B to break it apart, like so. So, isn't that helpful? That's good and all. I don't like the background. Because I just stuffed around inside a group symbols, Flash has said, "You idiot, why did you do that?" So it's taken me within the symbol itself, apart from scene 1. So scene 1 is still scene 1. It hasn't just disappeared on you or on me. But it's gone a bit Fruit Loopy. Yeah. And so if that does it again, like so, you can see the background here is something I drew, but the actual color of the background is this kind of neutral brown. The background is the stage color, I should say. It doesn't show up well, actually it does show up in images that you express, but you can, like if you're creating a PNG or something, it will be registered as neutral or nothing, just invisible. and it's really just for the purposes of the artist to get his bearings, his or her bearings, to figure out where, you know, where the edge of the stage is, and also make something that is neutral to the colors that you are using. I hit the, I double click on the frame rate right up here, but there's probably some way to get into it, modify file or something like that to change the document properties. And in the background color right here, you can change it to a nice dull green, and it's a bit neon, or a more muted version of that, like so, to make it less distracting, or in this case, less muddied with the colors, the dark colors of Cloud's feathers. So we're gonna get back in here. Hopefully I haven't ruined everything. Yeah, like so. And we're going to now define the shape of Cloud's jaw, like so. Don't worry, this is the last thing we'll be doing. Today I think we've sat at the computer long enough. We should all go and stretch our legs. And oh no! Now it's time to use Viva's trick of the alt thing and move this velocity out there like that. I think that's not bad. I think that's not bad at all. But as you can see, we've got a problem. A bit of a problem. Which I'm just going to ham my way through with this and create a fill color over this. Select it all like blah, 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 like so. I think that looks like absolute garbage, but it's going to be in the background and nobody's going to notice, and I'm sick of it. So let's just do it. Yeah. That, like that. Get rid of these vertices, and it's a bit sharp. Maybe a bit sharp, I don't know.
We have Cloud Cuckoo Country in the chat.
Hey! We're stuffing up your image, sir!
Hi, Sandy.
Come, join us! This will ruin your reputation. So, yeah, it still looks...
Oh, and Vivo wants me to send you a thing. I have to first save the thing and then send you the thing.
Okay. Okie dokie. Thank you for your patience, guys and girls.
Bloop. I sent you a thing.
Boys and girls. And all shapes and animals and whatnot in between. This is what Vivo was talking about before. This doesn't have a separate... it doesn't have a westward toggle.
Sandy says, copyright violation.
Yes. Hit Alt like that. Maybe I can match it up, join it up like that. Well, that didn't. Look at that. It's a little bump. I don't want it looking bumpy. It's too bumpy. There we are. That's a little better. Ah, excellent. We're holding that Alt the entire time here. I hope you're happy, Viva. All right. To make this look less ridiculous, I'm going to round off. Just use my casual selection tool, black selection tool to round off this area here, and hopefully not give it a little bit of a roundness, a nice roundness to it. Use Alt and round it off. The reason I want to do that is so that should it move through this area here at all, it won't be completely, it won't look like a complete, it will mitigate the possibility of there being a gap. So they're going to overlap a little bit.
And Kichi in retort says, hashtag, where's the fair use?
Where's the fair use? Where is the fair use? That's just a fantastic question. Let's find out. Let's push the limits, baby. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger than the rest of his head, like so. Hopefully so these two elements will scissor over one another. Ah, scissor me timbers! I'll group that up again. Like that, and join them naturally. So that's how his face sits. See, Cloud, this is what your face normally does. I hope you know, it's fine. We don't mind. And oh my goodness, it looks like it might be, it's all going down. I'm gonna leave it there so it pulls over like that. Oh dear. Kind of looks a bit like a Muppet.
Okay, looks like Lux is gonna head to bed so she can play D&D tomorrow night, hon.
Good night, Luximus. See, I actually, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Maybe I'll make this a cheek. So it's like so, yeah. That looks a bit better. It's pulling down. So
Misty Phantom asks, would it be okay for me to draw my furry wolf OC with your panda OC? I promise to keep it safe for work.
Absolutely. Go nuts. Surprise me. I'm gonna check out a line here, our transform tool, and see what if we get the precise rotation correct there. 4.1.
Also, Chi-Chi's finally heading to bed and taking her cold meds, like she should have done a while ago.
Yeah,
Night.
Kichi. Look after yourself, babe. Alright. Not much longer now. Now I've decided that I don't like it sitting here straight, so we're gonna reintroduce the nice bend of a happy beak. It's a happy beak. Give it a little bit of a thingamabob. Frickin'. Okay. Flash hates me again because I made it a group. Why did I do that? It's a very silly boy. I'll go back on the main timeline. D-group. Cut you down. Cut each other down. And looks like we've got... Oh, hello there. Look at that. There it is. There it actually is. Hold down Alt. There it factually is. Like so. Yay. Okay. So it's looking a little beaky. And I hesitate to turn it into a symbol because I'm so many blinky symbols. I don't know. So I'll make it a group again, even though they seem to hate me. And we will open it up. We'll set the registries properly, and then we'll open it up like so. I don't know. Well, it doesn't look too bad. I guess it's a bit funky on the old inlet here. Like his cheeks aren't. If I were really bothered about this at all, I'd and I'd add another black thing here. Yeah, I guess. I think you can see what I did there. I just made a dot of black that fills in. Get a rough idea of what that's going to look like, if anything at all. I suppose it's okay. And you can sort of see how we fudged. We completely faked some line art. I might leave it like that, at least for now. And I'll sort of curve it round a bit, make it a little conjoined. Conjoin it a little. Conjoined and all joiny and good and golden. Your mileage may vary as to whether or not this looks good at all. Again, it's only a background image. And the corners of mouth. I'd like it to be all nice and flush and swish and awesome, but what's up, Doc?
Wait, Doc is here? He should have been in bed hours ago.
So I can probably stuff around with that some more, but to do that, to stuff around with it anymore, would probably muck up the closed, how I'd want it looking closed. So, oh, you know what I can do? You know what I can do? I can just cheat. I can completely just freaking cheat. Do. Is that right? That's where I want it. That's the layer. Like so. Yeah. You didn't even notice. It's rubbish. Who cares? It's all a bunch of lies. And if you look really closely, even something like Pony, you'll see they do the same. Look at this nonsense. Look at this absolute nonsense. Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself. I'm so sorry, everybody who knows what they're doing. Just driving everybody nuts.
Well, maybe Viva, as she says, if you're only drawing 2 to 3 frames for his mouth, I'd just break it apart and clean up the edges. Also, I'm team make the back part of the mouth visible, like in my example pic.
Back team of the what's going on here? Who's sending me stuff? This is Viva giving me advice. Stuffing up my bandwidth. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. You want yeah, okay. That's a cute mock-up. Okay. So you reckon it'll just break it apart? Yeah. Break it apart and stuff around. Is what we can do is we can break it all apart and stuff around with it, but what do you reckon, boys and girls? Boys and ghouls? Well, I think forward, ahead. That might be an idea. Let's just see what that looks like. We'll there's no reason we can keep those frames. We'll just copy them over there. If I don't like it later, I can come back to it. But yeah, okay. So, let's arrange this just so that where are we? Break them apart. X. Stick them on one layer like so, and just have a nice stuff around with it like this. Let's begin now. What did you say? Oh, you want, yeah, let's join them up. Let's just join it all up. Let's just join it all up. Why not? With a nice blackness. And I don't know how I'm doing here. It's probably wrong. It's all wrong.
Viva says, if you're worried about losing progress, if you want to revert, just make what you made its own keyframe so you can go back to it later.
Yep. Yeah. And I guess what we want to do is let's try some sub-selection tool malarkey to grab the image we want and contort it around. So sub-selection is the lasso tool, I think. Lasso tool is what I mean to say. Like so. To select just what we want on that layer, which is locked off, fortunately. And we're going to grab this bit of his face and manipulate just the beak there. Don't do that to me. Like so. And make it all nice and smooth. Let's make it nice and smooth by deleting all these oh so helpful keyframes. We don't want to delete you, Keith. It's okay. It's just art. Oh, Flash. Get rid of you, get rid of you, get rid of you. You're unhelpful. Put you there. And that's what's going on in the background. And we might make you a bit taller like that. Okay. What do you reckon? Oh yes, I'm supposed to make the inside of the mouth part, right? Oh boy, oh great, oh lordy Lou. Now you do know when you do that, that is in fact a giving him a kind of a 3/4, I think, you know, inside the mouth. How do we do this? What's a good color for a bird? What did you use? Oh yeah, a nice purple. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah. So, in case you're playing at home, what I did there was I stuck all that on. I created that layer and just create this basic shape for the inside of his mouth. It's all right. It's okay. I don't mind it. And
It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good.
it's still good. It's still good. And like, oh yeah, that's not so bad. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. And that's Cloud's mouth open. Blink and the mouth open. Kind of looks like that hurt. I guess with time I'd take it and I might stuff around with it more and drag it back. See if we can do that. Drag it back a bit. So it's a little less of an underbite looking.
Underbite is a bird. He should have an overbite. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, he's got to have a massive overbite.
Mm-hmm.
So I stuffing around in Flash.
Yay.
Stuffing is my big fear. I can't make the stuffing around interesting. Because there's so much of it. Oh my giddy aunt. What's this? Oh, that's his face again. Okay. Add more layers. Don't be afraid to add more layers. To Admiral layers. Because if you want to make things look good, you gotta add a few layers here. Like so. Cheating all the way. Look, at this point, I could tinker with it until I'm blue in the face, and as I often do. So I might just say that's enough for now. My sister complains vehemently that I stuff around way too much. And tells me, "Oh, you're a perfectionist. Cut it out. Cut that right out, sir." How you doing, sweetie? Are you alive?
What?
How are you doing? How are you doing? You still alive? Managing? Okay. Yeah, there we have it. All right.
If you're talking to me, I can barely hear you.
Oh, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm fine.
Excellent.
I'm fine. It's fun getting to be with you. But I do feel bad that I'm only picking up bits and pieces. So that's why I've been super rude and interrupting you when people have questions. I'm sorry.
Right. Oh, well, thank you very much for your sticking with me on this little journey. I reckon, what do you reckon? Is this a good place? What does the chat think? Is this a good place to leave it? For now? Or...
Sorry?
Oh, I'm just wondering what the chat thinks. This is a good place to leave it for now?
Sorry, you're calling it? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm wondering
I'm just hearing the for now part.
if it's a good place to call it. Now.
Okay, I see you're taking. Yes, sure. That sounds lovely, and yes, I had to get that through text. But yes.
All right.
Sounds good. If you want to call it here. Does seem like most of the Americans have gone to bed, so it's mostly Viva yelling at you.
I love Viva right here. It's like, do not use Anthony's flash usage as an example. There's plenty of little optimizations he could be doing if I were behind his back right now. LOL. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm absolutely nature calls in a bad way, so I'm probably gonna call it a day right now. But because you've been so good, because you've been all sorts of wonderful, let's have a look and see what that
Sweet cheeks.
looks like, and let's yeah, that's all right. Let me show you my Pokemons. I can show you the first 2 minutes of this show in a poorly optimized stream, and let this be a wonderful teaser for the wonderful things to come. I don't know. It's never gonna get to see the light of day unless I actually sit down and do this. But you've been so good. I'll let you. Let's watch. Shall we? Let's watch. And see what I've been doing all these years. All right. Can't vouch for it. Oh, are we alive? We're alive.
Hi, Guy. Want some chai?
Oh, Kaylee, you know me too well. Please serve me some of your becloved elixir.
Okay. Hey, you going to the ball?
How's that?
The Silver Jubilee Ball. Are you going?
Oh, going? Who do you think's paying for it all?
Prince Kazdak?
Ah, well, you see, the prince's inheritance doesn't kick in until his 18th birthday.
Huh?
So until then, anything His Highness hires, purchases, or wagers is on credit from the bank. My bank.
Oh, you're important.
Well, you could call me a big cheese.
You want a big cheese?
I certainly am.
Okay, here's a big cheese.
Thank you.
Excuse me, honey bunny.
Hi, Guy. Want some chai?
You what? Listen, sweet cheeks, I'm looking for a panda wearing a big stone hat. You can't miss him. He's a little dude about yay high wearing a huge granite tower thing on his head, like a totem pole made of rock. You seen him?
No.
Do me a favor. You spot him, tell him to sit tight. Hetman's got the magic bullet. Capiche?
Okay. Oh, wait. Don't you want to try some chai?
No thank you, dear.
But it's good.
Is that what it says on the box it comes in? You might actually believe that, sweet teeth, but there's honestly nothing good about what you're selling.
Hey, there's no box. I make it myself, so it's super fly. Have a try.
Cross my heart and hope to die, I will not try your very fly chai. I'm just not that kind of guy. Now drop a couple of shots of Jaeger into that nouveau pretentious metro hetero big city designer apple loving latte goo, and on the worst day of my life you might just catch me cramming a mug of that stuff into my mouth instead of the gun that should rightfully be there. But until those events transpire, I shall abstain. Meow.
Yikes.
That's it. You can see all of the twitchy foot errors. Oh my gosh, what's going on there? Okay. Oh, that's good enough for now. Thank you very much, everybody. Were you able to hear that? Could you hear that? Did that come through? Well, if not, it's a surprise for later. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna head out now. Thank you very much for all your kind words. Viva! All your magnificent artwork. Thank you for teaching me, oh mighty senpai. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And if you liked it, then well, do tell me, and maybe we'll do this again. I need pretty much all the encouragement I can get to keep doing this thing. So you see how fiddly it is. It's like
We'll all be here for you.
Okie dokie. Like I said, like once we've got next time we've got Kaneko and Cloud animated properly. We jump into the next scene after this, which is a conversation with Hedwin the cat and Rupert. So they're gonna go off and have a nice conversation. So we've got more stuff to do and angles to draw and things to manufacture, and it should be fun. Anyway, thank you all for showing up, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, I hope this was fun. Oh, Happy New Year! Okay.
Happy New Year.
Excellent. Now, how do I stop a stream? Bye!
Bye.